Hit go live. There we go.
You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
And we are live. Greetings to our loyal WFYL listeners around the world. Welcome back to your Philadelphia live stream, only on the Freedom Station. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in once again, because you still have the right to hear and the right to be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike G. As always, with me are Philly Chris, Russ the producer, and Liberty Lee. And you're listening to Mike G in the morning with The Law Matters. And you can listen to our program every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So let's be heard. I want to remind our listeners that you can participate in the free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas throughout the entire week by visiting MikeGinthemorning.com. What's it called, Philly Chris?
MikeGinthemorning.com.
How about you, Liberty? Liberty, are you with us?
MikeGinthemorning.com.
How about you, Russ?
MikeGinthemorning.com.
David Coates, Elite Tactical Armory, EliteTacticalArmory.com. What's it called?
I heard it was MikeGinthemorning.com.
That is correct, sir. Tony Domenico, what's it called?
MikeGinthemorning.com, I believe.
You are the winner, sir. So check us out. You can see all of our social media profiles. You can see the videos of the shenanigans that Mike G and Philly Chris are up to week in and week out. So tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your barber, tell your Uncle Jerry, tell anybody who listen to check us out at MikeGinthemorning.com. I also want to remind our listeners about the powerhouse lineup we've got here at the Freedom Station. Kick off your mornings with Scott Adams, bringing you the Scott Adams Show weekdays from 9 a.m. until 11. We've got the one, the only Dan the Man Bongino, bringing you the Dan Bongino Show weekdays from noon until 3 p.m. He is the headliner, intellectual giant Ben Shapiro, bringing you the Ben Shapiro Show weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. And finally, we love having him over here at the Freedom Station family. His name is Michael Knowles, bringing you the Michael Knowles Show weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. So don't forget to tune in and show him some love. I also want to remind our listeners that today's episode of the Mike G in the Morning program is brought to you by Elite Tactical Armory, your firearm storage solution in the Lehigh Valley. Do you know what a commercial armory is? Well, you should. Recently, the Pennsylvania government has recognized commercial armories as an acceptable mechanism for off-site firearm storage. There are tons of reasons why you need to store your firearms off-site. Perhaps you're going out of town for a while. Maybe you got a kid who's on probation. Perhaps your scorned ex-wife is trying to falsely accuse you again. Or maybe you just ran out of room for all your precious babies. Either way, Elite Tactical Armory is the storage solution for you. You can check out Elite Tactical Armory at EliteTacticalArmory.com or PACommercialArmory.com. Get yourself a unit, EliteTacticalArmory.com or PACommercialArmory.com, because it's important to support those who support freedom. And be sure and tell them Mike G sent you. And with that, you know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hit it, Russ.
You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
We got a bunch of our regular, loyal Mike G in the Morning family listeners checking in this evening. We've got Rita. Give her a hey now, Philly Chris.
Hey now, Rita. Hey now.
Hey now. We got Len Larson. Excellent appearance on the program last week. Give Len a hey now.
Hey now, Len.
Gary, welcome back. Love having you. Chris, give him a hey now.
Hey now to Gary. Hey now.
Hey now. CB checking in. CB tells everybody, hold on, let's show his comment over here. He says, Hulk smash the like button If you're new to the channel, subscribe and share. He gives us a hey now, so give him a hey now, Philly Chris.
Hey now, CB. Welcome back.
And Liberty says, zucchini o'clock. This is going to be a great episode. I already see Len is somebody who is from the People's Republic of New Jersey. He's going to appreciate this conversation. Just a little bit of an introduction for everybody who's joining us on this episode. We've got two very special guests with us here. We've got David Coates, who's a firearms instructor out of New Jersey, from Elite Tactical Armory, EliteTacticalArmory.com and PACommercialArmory.com, longtime sponsor of the program. And we've got Tony Domenico, a firearms instructor in Maryland. It is very important that we have these two learned gentlemen on the program because in light of Bruin, the Supreme Court of the United States has struck down these unconstitutional systems that have prevented law-abiding citizens from having the ability to protect themselves and their loved ones on the streets in New Jersey and in Maryland. You know, for the first several months of this program, to make a point, every single week, I cited the statistics of murders and violent crimes in Baltimore, Maryland, and Newark, New Jersey. And the reason I did that is because despite having some of the most oppressive gun laws in the entire country, these two places are absolutely riddled with violent crime. What do you know? Gun laws do not cure murder. They do not cure violent crime. All they do is disarm the good law-abiding citizens and leave them with no mechanism to protect themselves. Put them at a disadvantage. And so we saw all these horrible things taking place in these cities. Baltimore, Maryland, at one point had a murder a day. People killing each other in the middle of the streets. Perhaps gun control is not the answer. We have some sick people out there. And they're out in the streets and they're killing each other. Newark, New Jersey, same thing. Despite having some of the most oppressive gun laws in the entire country, we continue to see people be victims of violent crimes. Because what do you know? The criminals didn't care. And I'll tell you who else doesn't care. The politicians don't care. Because every time they go out there and they suggest throwing yet another gun law at this problem, that's the easy way out. They're telling you that they're a bunch of cowards. That's all they are. They're cowards. They don't want to roll up their sleeves and get into their communities and do the things that will really make a difference. You want to know why? They take work. And they're not exactly popular. You can't go out there on the campaign trail and talk about them. Look what we did. We made another gun law that nobody's going to follow. So I cited these statistics every single week to show that they didn't care. And I did it because I care. People make this mistake of thinking, or they have the audacity to go out there and make the claim at least, that as gun owners, we don't care when this stuff happens. They make it seem like we don't mind when people get murdered, just because we disagree with their proposed nonsense solution. We do care, and that's why we bring this stuff up, and that's why we want everybody, all the law-abiding citizens in New Jersey and Maryland, to go out there and get armed and legally arm yourself to protect yourself from those predators. So with that being said, I want to introduce our two guests for this program, David Coates of Elite Tactical Armory and Tony Domenico. Dave, I might have been misspeaking this entire time. Elite Tactical Academy for the purposes of your appearance on this program today. Is that true?
They're two related entities. One is the gun storage business, and the other is an education entity. So they're related.
So where is Elite Tactical Academy primarily based? And tell us a little bit about what you do over Elite Tactical Academy.
So Elite Tactical Academy is a public safety training center. It's not just firearms. In fact, mostly we do CPR training, first aid training. We train EMTs, firefighters, and police officers, everything from basic first aid, lifeguarding, and tactical combat casualty care, which is the rescue task force, the people who actually go into active shooter situations and resolve the situation.
That is great. Now, Tony, I want to bring you in here for a minute. Down in the People's Republic of New Jersey, tell everybody a little bit about where you primarily teach and what you do.
I'm a freelance firearms instructor. I'm out of Belcamp, Maryland, which is just a little bit above Bel Air, Maryland, if anybody knows where that is. And I primarily do pistol training, so NRA courses, and of course all the Maryland firearms courses. We got this thing called the Handgun Qualification license, and then of course now what we call our wear and carry handgun permit. Those courses that came into existence in 2013 when they passed a bunch of really strict gun laws that made Baltimore the safest city in the. Never mind.
That's right.
I was like,
Now,
wait a
just to
minute,
be-
what?
Just to be clear, Tony, for people who are not from or are not familiar with the People's Republic of Maryland, you said a handgun qualification course. So, as I understand, you have to take a course in order to attain the privilege to even own a firearm. Is that correct?
Yep, the HQL is a 4 to 5 hour course, 4 hours minimum, and you need to take that course in order to be able to purchase what we call a regulated firearm. That would be any kind of handgun or AR type gun. If you already own a gun, they decide that you know enough, you can be training exempt if you own a gun, one of those handguns, or if you have certain military law enforcement backgrounds, things like that, you can be exempt from the training.
I guess
That's sort of
regulation
like a
is not
chicken-
an infringement. Sorry.
Not an infringement. It's also kind of like a chicken or the egg thing, right?
Well, when it
You
first
own one,
happened,
so you're good, but you got to do it in order to own one.
when it first happened, we were very confused because part of the training is shooting at least one round safely out of a handgun. And the first question, of course, was, if you don't own a handgun, how does that happen? So
Right.
you take a class to take the class to. So there were some definition of terms, I'll say, that had to happen at the beginning of all this.
Well, I think that with these new systems for carry licenses, there's also going to be an adjustment period, so to speak. And I want to get to Dave to talk about this for a little bit. There seems to be some questions as far as what type of qualification will be required and accepted in New Jersey in terms of getting what you call a permit to carry over in New Jersey. I always try to know what each state calls it. It's very difficult to keep up with every single state. Pennsylvania, it's a license to carry firearms. New Jersey, they call it a permit to carry according to the statute. And it is a concealed handgun license in Oklahoma. And there's a bunch of different names. We all colloquially call it a concealed carry license, I think is what a lot of people call it. So I'm sure I'm going to have some nerd chime in at some point. That's not what it's called in that state and give me a hard time over something. But everybody knows what we're talking about. So, Dave, now that the Supreme Court has struck down justifiable need in New Jersey, from what I've heard through the great and powerful Evan Knappen, they are dealing with, or expecting at least 200,000 people to apply for a permit to carry, which is absolutely incredible. You get a state of, 8 or 9 million in New Jersey? Is that fair to say?
I think so. Yeah.
Am I pretty close? So, and they're
The
expecting
truly interesting
200,000.
thing is, every time we think we understand what the process is, it changes. Sometimes daily.
Wow.
So it's when I tell you it's a moving target, no pun intended. Yes, it was.
It is absolutely a moving target in this instance. And let's face it, they are certainly not on our side. But if you look back to the way it's been for so many years in New Jersey, when they did have justifiable need, it was basically a bar to getting a license to carry, or a permit to carry, as they call it over there for most people. I mean, you had to show that there was some kind of violent stalker with a knife in a tree outside your house and he was about to stab you, right? Otherwise, they'd say, you don't really need it all that much, do you?
Even if you said my line of work requires me to have large sums of cash, or I'm a landlord in a difficult area, they say, well, you should really change your job.
Wow.
Thanks.
Evan had that case that was pretty popular where the guy worked at Picatinny Arsenal, and Picatinny Arsenal had been threatened by terrorists.
Yep.
So the guy applies and says, hey, my place of work, terrorists have threatened it. It's kind of a big deal. And they said, well, no, sir. They threatened your place of work. They threatened Picatinny Arsenal. They didn't threaten you personally. So they've got to come. They got to write you a very specific letter saying, we're going to kill you, sir. You are going to be the specific object of our terrorism.
Wow.
Otherwise, you're going to have to be more specific, terrorists.
Plus, I would imagine the person probably had military experience, which didn't matter either.
You'd think so,
An active
right?
duty officer, if I recall correctly.
No big deal.
Yeah,
So,
just
Tony,
scratch that.
what was it like before justifiable need was stricken and deemed unconstitutional in Maryland?
Well, a few years ago, it was very similar to New Jersey, where we had what was called a good and substantial reason. And the state police in Maryland basically could decide what that was. So I know of permits out there that actually would have restrictions written on the back of them that were very interesting, kind of confusing. Of course, if you were, say, an armored car driver or a security guard, your permit would say only while doing business or employed as the security company. But I do know of a permit that was floating around Maryland that literally said that person could only carry a gun while they were carrying a gun because they owned a gun shop. And at the time, they would not give what were called unrestricted permits. So that was kind of the wording of, okay, we understand what you do for a living. About, I want to say 2 years ago, they decided that business owners in Maryland had a good and substantial reason because they were business owners, and they were starting to give out unrestricted permits to business owners as long as you could prove you did business in Maryland with an LLC or any kind of documentation that's shown you did business in Maryland. But that still left everybody else out. I mean, I had an individual tell me for if you were threatened that the bad guy should really sign whatever weapon they were using, so you could turn it in and prove that they attacked you with it, and then you may get a permit possibly in the state of Maryland.
Excuse me, kind sir.
Yeah, as you're laying on the ground, hand them a Sharpie.
Let me hand this back to you for a minute.
Do me a
Yeah.
favor. And you had to show all kinds of documentation. I remember that being the case in New Jersey. It's like, oh, well, you almost killed. Did you report it? Do you have documentation that you almost got killed and everything like that? You got to take the time to document it while the bad guy's out there in a tree with a knife.
And what's crazy about that is some counties in Maryland don't do a verbal threat written report. So there's just too much other things going on. So some counties, if someone says, "Hey, I'm going to rip your arms off" and stuff, they go, "Oh, he was kidding." That sort of thing. So you don't have that documentation to even back up that your life may be in danger. So it sounds like it was very similar where ours was just called good and substantial reason.
How about just because? How about because I'm an American and I have a right to protect myself and my family? How about that? That's the way we do things in the United States of America last time I checked. So, Dave, I want to talk a little bit about what you're doing in terms of classes, because there is a training requirement that goes along with the permit to carry. You have to be able to show that you're familiar with firearms, correct?
So there's one of 4 standards that you need to meet in order to get a permit. One of them is a safe handling certificate signed by an NRA instructor, which seems fairly ill-defined. Another is a PTC qualified qualification course of fire, which is fairly well-defined and has been used in the private security and retired police officer carry for a long, long time. So that's kind of the most understood process, is people will go through a qualification shoot, and that's the way they're meeting that requirement. Again, it's this 4 different ways. The way that we're going to do it is we have a very specific course. It's a day long, half a day in the classroom and half a day on the range. The objective of our course is to get you familiar with carrying a defensive firearm concealed. So accessing that from a holster, presenting it from a holster, delivering shots on target, and then safely reholstering. It's not a beginner class, it's an advanced class. But if I'm going to sign off that I think you're okay to carry a concealed firearm, that's what I want to see. And that is certainly well above the standard that New Jersey has, but it makes me more comfortable.
Sure. And when you talk about places that don't have a training requirement, and, I've got my thoughts about the government getting involved and telling us what we must do in order to exercise our rights. But I think we could all agree that it's the responsible thing to do to get yourself trained and become familiar with safe handling and how to become proficient, because I think for some reason people have this ridiculous attitude as gun owners that as long as they have a gun, they're good to go. Like in a life or death situation, they're going to be able to use their firearm effectively to protect themselves or their loved ones and save their lives.
So let's
That
look at
only
a couple
happens
other
in the
states.
movies.
But take a look at a couple other states. Let's take a look at Utah. Utah has a very specific requirement. You have to be a Utah certified instructor, and there is a very specific course requirement for it, but it's only in classroom portion. Florida has both a classroom requirement and you have to do it's a shooting portion. So there's both classroom and range time and for Florida's permit. And then there's Pennsylvania, the other end of the extreme, where it's more constitutional.
20 minutes and $20 at the sheriff's office, right?
Unless you're in Philly, of course.
I was trying to be
Unless you're in Philly.
constitutional about it.
Mm.
So, there's a spectrum. Yes, certainly if we look at it from a legal point of view, and Mike, that's your area of expertise, the Second Amendment should be your permit. However, I certainly would like to see people have some training so that they kind of know the rules, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what lines you should cross, as in state lines. We can talk about Shanine Allen and how she crossed into New Jersey from Pennsylvania, and that kind of was a mistake. And where you can't,
just a small, little, tiny one.
Where you shouldn't carry, like a post office, a bar. What are the pros and cons of going into all those kind of locations, a school, etc. You can't just go, well, I didn't know. So some training is certainly a good idea. How much we can all certainly debate on. Again, what we've decided from our perspective is we want to have, I guess, a little more than most. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't go and get the bare minimum somewhere else. But, we are elite. So we want to make sure you have a comprehensive understanding.
So what are the primary objectives here? Of course, firearm safety is absolutely non-negotiable as a gun owner, because you screw up with gun safety, people die. You can die, your loved ones can die, someone you don't know can die. And as a gun owner, one of my top priorities, maybe even number one, is don't die. So we could put that at the top of the list. Now, another thing aside from firearm safety that would contribute to keeping goal number one intact would be proficiency. And I define proficiency as being able to save yourself or a loved one with a firearm in a life or death situation. Is that a fair definition for everybody?
Works for me.
I think so. So, Tony, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of being proficient if you're going to, as you called it, wear and carry in Maryland, because if you're not proficient, if you're not able to save yourself or a loved one with a firearm in a life or death situation, you die. And we didn't achieve goal number one. And it doesn't happen just by carrying it. This is not the movies. You're not going to rise to the occasion. I don't know in what other context people think that they're going to be able to do something that they've never done before in a life or death situation. It blows my mind when people buy a gun, they get their license to carry, they do no training whatsoever, and they think if something happens, they're going to be just fine. So, Tony, why don't you talk a little bit about the importance of being proficient?
Well, it's very important that the training, because here in Maryland, our training is actually 16 hours. It's 2 days by law. And you have to go over these 4 things: maintenance, care, storage, Maryland law. So you have 16 hours to do that. So what this has done is this has caused a gigantic variance of courses that are being offered in Maryland.
Sure.
Not only at price points, which have been insane all around, but the content, what's being delivered in the courses. I know with my courses, much like I feel like me and David would get along fine, because I've turned students away who want the minimum. I just tell them that your class isn't for me. I'm glad you're doing the research. I'm glad you're talking to instructors, but you just want to shoot the 25 rounds Maryland requires for your minimum. That's not me. I want you to bring 250 rounds instead. So my class is structured where day one, the first 8 hours is all classroom, but we talk about things like a defensive mindset. We talk about situational awareness. We talk about what leads up to a bad situation, what happens during a bad situation, and how to deal with it after the bad situation has happened. And I'm lucky to have a team that has both law enforcement background, military background, that help me out, that can answer just about any question that anyone may have in class. Day 2 in the morning, we go over some safety stuff, some malfunction drills, things like that. And then I have my guys on the range for about 5 hours. They do their 25 round qualification about an hour into it because they get nervous. Anybody gets nervous about a test. Oh my goodness. So a lot of times I'll even say, let's just practice this time. And they all shoot 100 and I go, well, that was a great qualification. Let's move on. And then after that, we do some real shooting, as I call it. So I think that expecting someone, as you said, to go buy a firearm, get a holster, whatever the newest thing they saw online was, hook it on their belt, put their shirt over it, and think, I'm an action star. Is not the way to go. I was born in West Virginia, where you were issued a shotgun when you were born, pretty much. And I moved to Maryland in my early 20s, and talk about a culture shock.
That must be crazy
between those two places. But proficient to me is not just knowing what to do, but is knowing you can do it. It's not only knowing what you should do, but knowing you'd be able to do that thing. And no training in the world is going to prepare you for the worst time of your life. But you can at least have a little bit of I'll be a pun guy too, a little bit more ammunition.
I love it.
Tony, I like you.
For those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. Now, Tony, I heard you mention that they talk specifically about firearms storage in the course. Dave, is that something that's involved in the New Jersey side?
It's not specifically covered in the New Jersey statute. It says you have to have a certificate in safe firearm handling. However, because Tony and I have the same mindset, we cover that in our course too. It's important not only to, one of the safest place to have your gun to store it is on your body, wherever you're carrying it, on your hip, in your appendix, whatever, small of the back. But what happens when you get out of your car? What happens when you go home at night? Where do you put it? So safe storage is important. And we think
for every person who's going to carry concealed, there should be a course that involves how to use a public restroom while you're carrying.
Oh, yes.
That's the last chapter I do in my class.
Is it really?
Sorry, next to last.
Tony, Tony, tell us about how to carry in a public
I want to hear about
restroom.
it. Right.
Well, we are on camera. But anyway,
you don't have to.
I found this was very strange to me. I would take many training courses, and I remember the first time I was in public and I walked into a bathroom and had that, again, no pun intended, oh crap moment, and didn't know what to do. So I actually put a chapter in my course where we talk about the storage. We talk about what to do if you go somewhere that's a gun-free zone, let's say. We talk about retention, like what happens if someone grabs the gun while it's in the holster, simple techniques to get away. Because in Maryland, our motto is run away if you can, of course. We have the duty to retreat in public in Maryland if we can, unless it's unsafe for us to do so. The only time that doesn't go into place is if we're in our home. So I have all my students the very first day, the very first minute, we clear their firearms, they put their holsters on, which I don't know if Dave runs into this or not, usually really bad holsters.
Yes.
Isn't that the worst though? Somebody's got a $1,200 gun and they got a $10 Uncle Mike's holster.
Exactly.
Come on, dude.
So I actually have a pair of scissors that I lay on the table so I can cut straps and stuff like that off those Uncle Mike's. But they wear their gun for all 16 hours, the entire class, because I want them to get used to banging it into the chair. And I watch the first break. Here's the restrooms, guys, and I just kind of wait. And there's a lot of discussion that goes on. So we do get into some ways, quality holster, number one, that'll hold your gun. Don't you dare do the old hang it on the hook in the back of the door trick, or set it on top the toilet paper dispenser. I've even heard what I'll call the hammock. I'm not going to go into that.
I can visualize it in my head.
Can you visualize?
I can.
I like the
Chris,
hammock.
do you get it? The hammock?
Yeah. I think I've done the hammock.
I think we need to
You've done the hammock before. You just don't want to pull them up, all the guns in the
That's
hammock.
right. Yeah. But
No,
you never
and
forget it, though.
which way it's facing is that's safe direction rule and all.
That's true.
But I like the old behind the calf, still on your belt technique myself. And I just tell all the men in the bathroom, just say goodbye to the urinals. If you're carrying, you're going to go into a stall. That's just the safest thing to do. Because think about the most vulnerable position you could possibly be in your life, facing a wall, doing certain things, and that's that.
Right.
But this is just an example of things that in Maryland, in a way, we're lucky because the curriculum's so vague. The state police has not given us a curriculum except for those 4 things. You know, the safe use, the storage, and they do have to do the live fire component. So we are, if a good instructor is able to build in a lot more quality instruction into those 16 hours, because the other big thing I run into is you've got a guy sitting in class who's got a bunch of training and he just wants to go through the motions to get his permit now, sitting next to grandma who just bought a revolver and wants to protect herself. And you've got to create a course that keeps both those people interested. And you know, with my background, I have some experience in creating those lesson plans and things like that. But it really has created a giant variance in the instruction being given. And I cannot recommend enough to people looking for classes to call the instructors, talk to them, ask them what their class covers. If they can't answer you, call somebody else. And just because the price point's really high doesn't mean it's really high quality. Just because the price point's lower doesn't mean it's low quality. So do the research. This is an important thing.
There are
Len Larson has
instructors who can't tell you what's in the course.
I've heard some instructors go, "Oh, we just talk about gun stuff."
Oh, really? You don't say. I thought we were going to learn how to knit at this firearms course.
Yeah.
Put the hammock in the agenda.
We had a question. I don't know if you saw it pop across. Somebody had a specific question for you, Tony, requiring your expertise. I don't know if you saw it pop up across the screen. I'll bring it back up one more time. Len wants to know, does Tony think that the seat should be left up? So this is an ongoing debate on this program. So if you have a unisex bathroom where either men or women can use that restroom, Philly, Chris, and I have taken the position that if you lift the seat, you should leave it up, because the next guy who comes in, if you put it down, might not be so kind, might not put it back up, and might urinate all over the seat, leaving the next poor woman who comes in to be facing a mess. Other people have said, no, if you put it up, you put it back down, and that's that. So what's your position, Tony?
I think in the situation you described, and being a firearms instructor that teaches accuracy, I can tell you that accuracy is not always a strength. So I think I would go on your side where leave it up so there's no flyers. And then the next person has to take responsibility for checking the status of their target.
I totally agree with you. I think that the women who say that you should put it back down, they just don't know any better, unfortunately. Chris and I, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth. You want us putting that seat back up. You need us leaving that seat up.
Yeah.
It makes them stronger. It makes them more independent. I mean, let's face it.
Dave, is this part of the New Jersey course at all, whether you leave the seat up or down? Or
we're actually developing a Q target that goes in the toilet.
You're gonna be a millionaire. You're gonna be rich. You're gonna be rich, I tell you.
I knew an instructor that took an old toilet out on the range.
Yeah,
and thought it was important enough for people to learn how to get up off the toilet and shoot.
No kidding.
So for defensive purposes, not just not leaving it there. Now,
well, you are in a vulnerable position in there, like you said earlier.
Yes.
Yeah,
so it's a great IDPA stage. So the people who run IDPA classes come up with these very creative stages. I've seen that as one of the stages as well. Hey, listen, I enjoy doing IDPA. The more creative it is, the more creative you
I
get.
think I saw that one. Didn't they even have a newspaper they held up?
I believe they
do.
What do you do if you're zipping up and you get a stovepipe?
I think it's tap, rack. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We're touching the third round. That happened, and there's something about Mary, right?
I think so.
Yes. Malfunction. Yes, there was a malfunction.
That is a type 4 malfunction.
Critical. Call 911.
Liberty piping in. Liberty wants to join in on the conversation about the stovepipe.
I was gonna say before, because Tony said that the safest option for a guy, if you're carrying, is to go in the stall. I was gonna say I think that's the safest option anyway. After learning what goes on in men's bathrooms, just go in the stall.
Yeah. The best bathrooms are like there's some restaurants where all the stalls are totally enclosed, like have their own door, and oh man, that's great. It's the box stores that have about a 4-inch gap between the door and the frame of the stall. That they might as well not have a door whatsoever. Those get tough.
Well, because we get these calls all the time where people have left a firearm in a public place, particularly the restroom happens all the time, and the police show up, and then they're calling us saying, "Hey, the police are here. What do I do?" And we say, "Shut up! Don't make any statements." And
Step number
we
one,
take it from
don't
there.
take it out of your holster.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
You've attached to your pants. You won't forget it.
Exactly. Well, and as we were saying earlier, the biggest mistake people make are junky holsters, and the second I think are junky belts. You know, you gotta
Yes, sure.
your belt needs to be able to support the holster, and the holster needs to be able to retain the handgun. And if that happens, a test I do with my students is I hold a belt out. I use a lot of crossbreed stuff, crossbreed holsters, great company.
Dude, I was just gonna say, and they are not. I swear they're not paying me a dime for this. I was just gonna say the Crossbreed Executive, my favorite
Yep.
gun belt.
I hold it in the back with my hands fairly close to each other, and the belt stays out like a hula hoop. And I tell them if it'll do that, it's a good gun belt.
They're incredible.
They're amazing belts. You're gonna like put them in, like hand them down to your son and daughter and their grandkids. They're made so nicely.
What company is it again?
Crossbreed.
Carry the
Great
cross.
company.
I promise they're not paying me. They've talked
Next
about
week
our
on the
program
show
their
live
page
with
before.
Mike G in the morning, Crossbreed.
No, they have talked about our program on their page before, but
And
Yeah.
for
Oh,
a little
okay.
diversity, I prefer the Blackhawk Instructor belt.
Mhm.
Okay.
Another good
Rigger's
one.
belt, but it's Kydex reinforced. It does
Yeah.
the same thing that Tony's belt does. It says it looks like a hula loop, and it does
Mhm.
support the weight of all the
Mhm.
accessories you just put on your belt.
Russ, what
Um,
kind of belt do you wear? Is he there?
JC
Russ?
Benny.
A big
Sorry.
circumference. Sorry.
Russ strictly wears sweatpants, no belt.
There, that's right. That's right. He's up at the North Pole.
But we see
And,
I
and
think one
carrying
of
a
the
gun
worst
with sweatpants is challenging as well. I mean, where do you
Mhm.
carry when you're wearing sweatpants? It's a new and different challenge, and there's specific holsters that you might wear just for that.
Well, what's really ironic about Maryland is we call our permit the wear and carry handgun permit. The words wear and carry are in the title of the permit, but nowhere am I required to teach students how to wear or carry it or holster or anything. So,
wow.
so it's a very interesting kind of irony. But I don't know about Dave, but I have whenever I go and teach courses, I have a large box full of holsters.
Yep.
Of course, now any instructor's excuse now is, honey, I need it for class whenever you want to buy something new. But I take
That's
about
good.
25 or 30 holsters, everything from belly bands to shoulder holsters to even holsters I think are just not well made, just to
Mhm.
show them what they shouldn't buy. And that's a part of the instruction. I don't find that people have issues with the actual shooting during class. Many people, you can get them up to a point where they can be accurate, and especially people that have some experience.
Mhm.
It's now in Maryland that they have no experience carrying a gun. They're the vast majority that are coming to classes now don't know how to holster, don't know how to draw from a gun, don't know how to shoot defensively. They may have hours and hours of time at the range going blah, 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 and they might make beautiful little holes. But that's not a defensive way to use a handgun.
Totally.
And
Totally.
that we have exemptions in our state for like military. If you have a DD 214, you're exempt from the training. Certain police time, they have LEOSA after 10 years, but certain police training makes them exempt. But what Maryland seems to have skipped over is that those people with those military backgrounds and everything, they haven't studied the law in Maryland of what you can and can't do. They haven't dealt with handguns very much. So I have a lot of students that take my class that are actually exempt from the training because they want to learn more about holsters. They want to learn more about handguns specifically. They want to learn the list of how you get in trouble, the list of how to stay out of trouble, which I think in a way, I wish that we did have a curriculum that everybody had to follow, but then that starts to border on too much control. I just wish there was a little bit more of a governing of the instructors' courses. Because you guys all know one bad apple ruins everything. So that one bad instructor who, I know guys using simunition for their qualification instead of actual being on a range.
Wow.
So,
wow.
And
And that's acceptable?
They can do that, yeah.
As long as there's ignition in the ammunition in Maryland, as long as there's fire in the firearm, it's acceptable.
Not in New Jersey.
That's what's one where you're ahead of us. But like Mike said earlier,
the beacon of Second Amendment rights.
Yeah. Like Mike said though, it's one of those things where you don't want too much control in there, but I think you also want the right thing done. I think any responsible gun owner is going to go get trained. It's the irresponsible ones that are the fear.
Mm-hmm.
For those
I have
of
a
us just
question.
tuning in, give me 1 second. For those of us
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
tuning in, you're
Mhm.
listening to Mike G in the morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. Looks like we've got a new subscriber here, Jason Cruz. Philly Chris, give him a hey now.
Hey now, Jason Cruz. Welcome to the show. Hey
Looks
now.
like DG is back in the chat. Give
Awesome.
DG a hey now.
Hey now, DG. Welcome back.
Hey now. Did you give
Hey now.
Randy a hey now?
Randy, hey
commented about the
now.
hammock. Let's see Randy's comment about the hammock.
Oh, yeah.
The hammock technique works until the time you don't make it in time and the hammock is occupied. Oh no, that's
Oh
horrendous.
dear.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
that's horrendous.
Big trouble
I will
on that
say
one.
that I've seen a recurring thing when people leave them in the public restroom where they leave it on the changing station. Believe it or not.
What?
Have you ever heard of that before? I've heard of this. They leave it on the diaper changing station, and that's
Yeah.
you know,
Unfortunately, that's happened several times in the county I live here down in Maryland.
so yes,
Unattended while they go in the stall, you're saying?
Well, I think that their thought is that they'll go to that larger stall with the changing station in it, and that way they can take their gun off, take whatever, set it on the changing station, then they leave, and
completely forget about it.
beautiful little table of gun there.
Doesn't sound very clean. Doesn't sound very sanitary either. Yeah.
Hey, maybe they got a high point. They got a crappy gun.
That could be it. That could be it.
Dave.
Hey, Mike, I was going to add one other thing that
Go
we're
ahead.
talking about. Hey, things you should have if you're going to carry a gun. Training is great, but you and I both know we love U.S. Law Shield. If you're going to carry a gun for defensive purpose, you best have a little backup plan. What happens when you use that? Who's going to come and defend you?
Yeah.
Obviously, we like U.S. Law Shield. I mean, there are others, but you.
I don't know of
You
any
took-
others.
That's like a quote from my class, especially the "oo" part at the end of that.
Tony, I don't know where we haven't met before, but we need to.
You guys are
Hassan, we might
separated
be-
at birth. You're separated at birth. That's
Well,
fine.
I had a student ask me about law. Well, why do I need Law Shield? And if I'm not going to do anything bad, and my response was,
Oh man, that's the
um,
most
my res-
naive person of the year.
my response was, are you going to put your seatbelt on right before you crash?
Right.
So think of it that way. Do you want to be at the yellow pages in the holding cell, hoping this guy is a Second Amendment friendly lawyer, or do you want to have that card, or even better, your spouse have that card in their wallet to making phone calls for you? So much like Dave said, I tell all my students, I hand out the information for Law Shield in every class. Even have a representative come to the classes sometimes to talk about it.
Yep.
But always say, there's other things out there. Do the research. and
Yeah,
pick
I
what's
don't
best
know
for
that
you.
anybody's got a response team like we do at U.S. Law Shield, and I'm not. I
In New
obviously
Jersey,
have
there
been with the
is no
program.
other option.
There is no
All
other option, Jersey.
Law Shield is the
True.
only game in town
Right,
for Jersey
right.
because New Jersey banned firearms insurance.
Yeah.
Because that was
And-
a great idea.
Yeah,
And,
Law Shield is a membership organization, so it's totally different. No
Membership
caps, no
organization.
Not
limits.
insurance.
You call that 24-hour hotline, Mike or one of the attorneys going to answer, come to the scene. I don't know, Mike, if you can talk about the situation you had a few days ago on the air, but that was insane what you told me about that. I don't know if you can talk about it yet, but
The little I can say,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had a critical incident in the middle of the night, and we were out there on the scene, as quickly as we could. And you think about if somebody's in one of these situations and they don't have that plan in place, what would they have done? Who were they going to call in the middle of the night? You're going to start clicking on Google numbers. Like Dave said, you don't know if they're well versed in the Second Amendment, if they believe in the Second Amendment, and they're going to answer the phone in the middle of the night and come out to the scene. It's not like they're on retainer. You haven't paid them ahead of time and they know they're going to get paid. I think that's just a pipe dream to think that you're going to get somebody to come out and you're going to have representation in the middle of the night with something like that.
sure. It's crazy.
That person, fortunately, was set up, and we were able to do that. And they're one of many. We deal with these cases constantly, and we're on the emergency line 24/7. We're ready to roll.
And what time did that happen, Mike?
That was about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
And you got somebody there.
We
At that
were
time.
there until the team was there until 2 o'clock the next afternoon, because that's right after the preliminary arraignment took place. So it was a very, very lengthy process. And now what lies ahead, and just
Now,
like
I'm
many
not
other
as cool
cases.
as Mike, But we do the same thing for firearms. If you've been red flagged or swatted, we will show up in the middle of the night to come collect your things so that they don't end up in a
that's
barrel
awesome. Okay.
in some police lockup.
Wow. So is there an elite tactical emergency line or something?
Yes, there is.
There
That's
is.
Oh,
cool. We'll have to mention that in the future. We didn't even know about that. How about
Yeah,
that?
people need to look into that. Have that number. They should
Mhm.
have a card, kind of like the U.S. Law Shield card, where they got the elite tactical card ready to roll. God
We need to
forbid
get you
something like
down
that
in
happen.
get you down in Maryland because
Yeah.
we have that extreme protective risk order is what we call it. Same deal.
We'll come to Maryland. We have one spot on the East Coast and one on the West Coast, so we cover the country from those two locations. But
So you would
we'll
go to
travel
them in
together.
Maryland. So somebody
Yeah.
in Maryland calls you and says, "Hey, I just got red flagged. I want you to take my guns." You'll get somebody over there.
Now, I mean, I can only drive 65 miles an hour.
Take the helicopter.
But you guys will go out there. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's something else
That's great. Yeah.
we should mention. Let's see what Rita says over here. Rita says, "I'll never be without U.S. Law Shield. I want Mike in my corner if I ever need someone to represent me." Well, thank you,
That's
Rita.
right, you do.
Mhm.
And if I got that call in the middle of the night from you, Rita, I'd know that we're in good shape as long as you lawyer up and shut up because you know the law inside and out. You've been to so many seminars.
Mhm.
Len says, "Couldn't have said it better, Rita." Same thing with Len. Seeing him out at seminars, well educated on the law, incredibly important. And so when I want to go back a little bit to when we were talking about leaving the firearms in the restrooms, and both of you seem to have the same opinion. Hey, just don't take it off your belt in the first place, and that doesn't happen. But in a different context, David, I want to ask you first, and then we'll bounce it over to Tony. David, when you're teaching people beyond that restroom example, there are other situations where people will tend to lean towards removing the holster when it may not necessarily be a great idea. So getting into the vehicle, for example, is a big situation where a lot of people they want the holsters with the clips so they could take it off and they could throw it in the center console or the glove compartment. Do you ever deal with these kinds of things in your classes, David?
We certainly address it in our class. And again, I emphasize the safest place for me to have my firearm is I carry it on a 330 position on my hip, my right hip, my strong side hip. That's where it is. That's where in the car, out of the car, over the car, under the car. That's just where it is. The people who clip in, clip off, unholster, that is the most dangerous time that you're going to have. If this isn't a pencil, this is a good
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the holster, leave it in the
Right.
holster till you get to your home where you're going to put it in your night table. Problem solved.
How about
Just
you,
stays
Tony?
there.
What do you think about that? Because there are going to be a lot of people who have never had a firearm in a vehicle accessible in Maryland, and New Jersey. This is something that people are not used to. So I think it's a very important topic. What do you think, Tony?
And again, I go back to there's going to be a lot of people who are very new to carrying a firearm and all the things that it entails. I'm not. I don't think I'm as nice as David. I tell them that's a dumb idea. I tell them you leave your house and you put your gun on your waist and it doesn't come off till you get home and go through your routine of taking it off when you get home. And really the only other time it should come out is if you're prepared to use it to defend yourself or your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good friend who's a retired state police officer who has this habit of always wanting to get the paddle holster. And, because, those pesky police officers, they don't really care about printing that much. So he carries a holster that sticks out about a foot from his side and pulls a T-shirt over it. And, you could trace the outline of the gun, but he's got his badge on his belt. So he's fine. And he has a habit of doing that as well. And I just asked him once why. And he goes, man, for 25 years, this thing was sticking me in the side.
Mm.
Well, it reminds me of a saying I was once told that carrying a gun is not comfortable, it's comforting. And it's never, you can get the best holster in the world. I love the holsters I have and the belts I have, but I'm still not as comfortable as if I didn't have one on. But I'm very much comforted at the fact that if I am in downtown Baltimore doing some things with my family and bad things start to happen and it's the very last resort and I have no way to get my family out, I can defend them and defend myself. Right. So I highly, highly discourage them from off-body carry, I call it, where they can take the holster off their belt. And I also tell them those holsters with the paddles, do you really want that thing flopping around? And it's very hard to conceal them. So I kind of discourage them in that way as well. But I even discourage like carrying in a backpack, carrying in a briefcase, carrying anything like that, because as David said, you have to be in control of your firearm at all times. And the best way to be in control of that firearm is for it to be on your side.
I experimented with a bunch of different modes when I first got into concealed carry out in Oklahoma. And, none of them quite worked the way I had hoped. And there was a private investigator at my law firm, was a retired law enforcement officer. I noticed that he just always carried outside the waistband on the hip. And that really wasn't in some circles, that's not like the cool thing to do. But I had a long conversation with him about it. He said, dude, you just got to change the way you dress, wear extra large shirts, and you wear it outside the waistband. It really is the most comfortable way, in my opinion, to ultimately do it. And I've never gone back since he made that recommendation and started doing it. But when you first start carrying, I think that there are two classes of people generally. You have one class of people who, like you said, Tony, they just don't care who knows. They say, I don't care who knows. Be out in the open, even if when they're concealed, they're not really concealed. And then you've got this other class of people who they're ultra paranoid about it. And I'll be the first to admit that this was me when I first started, because open carry was actually illegal in Oklahoma when I first started carrying. Back then, it was illegal to open carry even if you had a license out there. And then while I was out there, the law changed to if you had a license, you could carry either open or concealed. And now they have constitutional carry out there. But when you first start to ultra paranoid, some people, and I remember you'd be in the mirror looking different ways, different angles, and making sure that you can't see. But then the minute you get into Walmart, you're like, oh my goodness, everybody knows. They all see. They're all staring at me. Everybody knows.
Man with the gun in aisle 6, man with gun in aisle 6.
We go over the Walmart walk, which is what you'll all do when you get your permit. You get out of your car and you adjust your belt and your gun 106 times. And your strong arm has to be touch it, so everybody walks with their arm down by their side, because if you're not touching it,
it's like Putin. There. That's how Putin walks.
Right. That's right. Putin. Exactly. Yeah.
I'll be honest. One of the biggest thing I'm worried about in Maryland is so many Hawaiian shirts are going to be purchased. And it's going to be one of the ugliest states in the world with all these Hawaiian
What
shirts.
About the shoot me vests? You know about the shoot me vests?
Yeah. Oh, the fisherman vests. Yes.
Yeah, they call them the shoot me vests because everybody knows you're carrying if you got one of those. Nobody else would be caught dead.
Can I go on a small tangent here?
Yeah.
Please.
So here's my small tangent. I think guys are going to realize the problem that women have had for years and years and years. All of a sudden, guys are going to have, and we all have it, you'll back me up, a drawer full of holsters. Different colors, sizes, shapes, so forth. Just like the women's have with their purses. We have now a drawer of holsters, because it doesn't work with this pants, or it works well with that one, or I really wanted the Miami Vice thing under my arm. That'd be cool.
I'm surprised Louis Vuitton doesn't have one.
So Louis Vuitton.
Probably
Liberty.
does.
Do we know
Probably
anything
does.
about that, Liberty?
Maybe they do, yeah.
Louis Vuitton have holsters, Liberty?
I will have to check. I do have an insider. I'll have to check on that.
Oh, yeah, we got to find out.
Like the
I
Stingray holsters.
custom made a holster for my wife, which is I laminated Vera Bradley fabric over an Uncle Mike's holster.
Oh,
so
nice.
She can have a Vera Bradley holster.
Oh, well, I know who to call for some.
Somebody's happily married.
Hey, that's right. That's right. So let's talk a little bit about holsters. What is your favorite holster, Dave?
I almost always carry a Safariland ALS.
Okay.
It's a lovely holster. It comes with a belt and a paddle. It's a micro paddle in this particular case, and it has retention, and it's ergonomic retention. So I won't go into the secrets of it, but it's a lovely holster. It does everything it needs, but it allows very rapid access.
Gotcha. What about you, Tony?
I go back to crossbreed. I do carry inside the waistband. I know we all have different contours, I shall say, to our waistline. But I carry about 5 o'clock on my right hip inside the waistband. And my over the waistband, I have one of the very few crossbreed pancake holsters that have a thumb break on it.
Wow.
Most of them are open top. But I also love the ALS holsters, especially at the range or in the wintertime, when you don't have to you can get a little bit heavier clothing on. And I've just recently been turned on to Blade Tech's Eclipse holster. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's very minimalistic. It's almost, you almost don't know it's on the gun when you put the gun in it. But I've just got one to kind of try out, but it's very comfortable. It's an over the waistband, and it's all Kydex or plastic, whatever their space age material is that they're using it. No retention except friction, and it'll click. You can audibly hear when you put the gun in the holster.
You said Latex Eclipse?
No, that's another show.
What'd you call
it? Blade like a knife tech.
Oh,
yeah. Wow, Mike, where's your?
My search engine was going wild over here.
Tony's right. That's what Blade Tech is, our preferred holster for the range. They make excellent products. They come as a set. Listen, I can't say enough good about them. That's what I use at the range. Just no retention. So if that's what you're looking for, no retention.
What do you guys think of those custom Kydex ones you see at the gun shows and stuff?
I think anybody can buy the stuff to make them, and it depends on who's making them, what their quality is. If they're making them really quick at a gun show to try to make money, you're probably not going to get as high a quality as someone like a crossbreed who's going to take the time to do it the right way. And I really don't like the catch-all holsters. The it fits 500 different holsters kind of thing.
Right.
I've only ever seen Safariland does make one. They make a wide frame one and a slim frame one. That's okay. It's a GLS though. ALS means you're going to use your thumb. There's a little thing, and GLS means you use a certain finger. I'm not going to show you. But you shouldn't have to give a DNA sample and a 3-digit combination to get your gun out of your holster, unless you're a trooper, open carrying, or something like that. And I show those holsters in my classes, the really high end level 4 holsters. But Safariland does make a couple that are catch-all that are okay. And there's one other brand that escapes me now that I've seen that's okay. But what I usually tell people is if you're going to buy your holster in the same place you buy your underwear, it's probably not a very good holster. So I really think you need to get a holster that fits your gun.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's just, it's one of those
and everybody's
things.
body's different, like you said.
Right. And especially going back to the females, there are some holster companies that make female holsters because I hate to tell you guys, girls are shaped different than guys are.
Can you define a woman?
You're not
Can you
allowed
define
to say
what a woman
that.
is?
No, I'm not a biologist.
Oh my goodness.
But to bring us back from that, so do some research. And I know lately here in Maryland, the big thing about the training has been how the price for the training plus this, plus that, plus this, people are considering it gun control by finances because it gets very expensive eventually. But I don't think they're realizing that, the gun, the ammunition, the holster, the belt, and all that stuff, no matter what the law was, you'd need that stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of already a thing. But I really do believe as far as holsters go in any equipment, you need to have the stuff specific to that gun. That way it functions properly the way it's designed to function.
Right.
You want to talk quickly about pocket holsters if you want to carry it in your pocket?
Yeah. At Crossbreed, I have a great relationship with Crossbreed. They often send me holsters that may have a small defect or something to show in classes and things like that. And their pocket holster is definitely a cargo pants pocket holster. Where the back is sticky. It's an actual piece of rectangular leather with a sticky back. And then it has their Kydex on the front of it. That's made for a specific gun. I have one floating around. I think it's for a SIG 365, which I don't even own one of those yet. I got to get one to fit in that holster now.
I can help you with that.
Oh,
yes, you can. Yes, you can.
But I have also been in classes where guys have drawn their guns and the holsters are still on the gun.
Yep.
Because there's such cheap holsters. So you get what you pay for, guys.
Surprise.
Well, let's just go over the important.
Hey, they also had the Crossbreed also had that mag pouch that you'd store in your pocket called the Gideon. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah,
love those. Because people just throw the extra mags in their pockets. They always end up with lint in them and everything like that. And that's not what you want.
Or a piece of gum hooked on the end or something like that.
Sure. We got a couple of shout outs we got to give here. Dag Nabbit tuning in says, I could have bought a couple more guns with all the money I spent on holsters. Give him a hey now, Philly Chris.
Hey now, Dag Nabbit.
How about Johnny Austin? Johnny Austin says, thank you, Rita. Rita recommends We the People holsters. They're made in the USA. Great holsters. That is her favorite. Randy wants to know, gentlemen, what holster do you recommend that won't wear the finish of the gun? None.
There's two that I can certainly talk about. The Safariland ones actually have a little suede lining inside the kydex, which preserves the finish of the gun. And then there's
it's not going to be
also-
perfect, though, right? I mean,
No,
like,
it's
I
not
use leather
perfect.
holsters made by Next, and they're really good, and they've got a material on the inside that's supposed to help. But
If you have an all leather holster with a thumb brake, that's also lovely, and it works well. It's very comfortable. But if you have your multi-$1,000 beautiful sapphire finish 1911, that's what you're going to carry. No, get yourself a nice striker fired polymer pistol and choose that.
Right.
In other words, none. I
None.
mean, even the Uncle Mike's cheapies are going to eventually. If now most of us aren't using Uncle Mike cheapie if we're an IDPA competitor drawing our gun 1,000 times a year, you know. But yeah, if it's a carry gun, let's face it, you're probably not going to draw in your lifetime, hopefully, to defend yourself. Just about anything, but those Safarilands do have that nice little suede finish inside. And there are some other holster brands that if you read the description, they'll tell you there's a lining on the inside of material that will help the finish.
Len wants to know, Dave, has New Jersey finally released the concealed carry training requirement? You talked about that a little bit earlier. Do we know that anybody has officially been accepted under the new system yet?
Yes.
Okay.
So we know people have been accepted. I actually submitted my application package this morning.
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah.
So it hasn't been processed. I don't have my permit in my hot little hands, but soon. So the requirement is very nebulous. It says a safe handling certificate from an NRA instructor. Well, that's all well and good, but what does that mean? That's, again, one of 4 categories that count for qualification. I am certain at some point in time, New Jersey is going to clean up that language and resolve some of the conflicts in the law, but we just don't know when they're going to get their collective act together.
So have they just designated which NRA courses, or is it just that vague? So a basic pistol course could be accepted.
Well, some people are doing just that, are they not?
Well, if you have a
that's
post-it
my
note,
understanding. So
maybe a post-it note with that verbiage on there would be enough.
When I do it, I use the NRA defensive pistol program. That's what I use. I'm also an NRA concealed carry instructor, which is a very specific curriculum. The NRA defensive pistol curriculum is a little more flexible and allows me to use my own style, which I think Tony would agree with.
Yeah, and I use that same. I use the defensive pistol course as kind of volume 2 of our wear and carry course, because we don't have to use anybody's. Again, because of the variety, we can create our own courses. So my Maryland wear and carry course is kind of, I put the personal protection in the home classes, all of them in a blender and pushed, go. And then a lot of things that even Mike has looked at a couple of things for me that I include in my class, and Law Shield's been a great help because I have to go over Maryland law. And that's one of those things in Maryland. It's a little funny. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a police officer, but I have to go over Maryland law in these classes. So I have to make people aware of the law. I don't interpret it. When they say to me, well, what do you think of that? I go, I don't. It's Maryland law. No one does. No one thinks about Maryland law. So I just make it, here's what you can and can't do in accordance to the we have some Maryland lawyers who are also associated with Law Shield. One down in Montgomery County that was a big help getting some slides together for me. So once I'm finished with that, the defensive pistol to me, because like you said, Dave, there's a lot more freedom in it's more objective based. They just suggest it's 8 hours and suggest the thing. And once you get done the NRA stuff, if you do it right, you got about 3 hours, 4 hours left where you can do some other drills and do some other things.
It looks like we've got another listener tuning in, Philly Chris. It looks like CB
Actually,
says,
I was going to give a list of all the new listeners for you guys to do a quick hey now. Can we do that?
All right, good. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So we have Johnny Austin.
Johnny Austin, I think we gave him a hey now. Let's give him a second
Give
hey
another
now.
one. Hey now,
Give me
Johnny
hey now.
Austin.
Johnny Austin, hey now.
now.
Hey
I think you
now,
just answered
Johnny
his
Austin.
question. Okay, we have Lorraine listening in. Give a hey now to Lorraine.
Lorraine,
Hey now.
hey now. Hey now.
We have Deb G is back.
Deb G,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen. Hey now.
Hey now.
And then we have the new listener, Kendra, who is CB's
And
wife.
ladies and gentlemen,
CB's
Kendra,
right, Kendra.
CB's babe.
Hey now.
Hey now, Kenja.
Hey, now.
So another question, going back to, we're talking about the training requirements in New Jersey and in Maryland. Dave, what I was thinking when this all first started coming out and nobody had been accepted yet, it's good news that ultimately you have people who are getting accepted. But my idea was, hey, if you can get pretty close and you put together these courses that you think have a reasonable shot, I would certainly be willing to take them on a flyer, because, of course, nobody's got a crystal ball and we can't tell when New Jersey is going to try to drag their feet and stomp up and down and try to give people a hard time saying, oh, well, this course doesn't have this specifically. So now, of course, they're going to try to jam people up who are trying to exercise their Second Amendment rights. But for me, my line of thinking was, hey, you've got something that's pretty comprehensive and pretty damn comprehensive. I'll give that a shot. And, if it's accepted, then great. Then got exactly what you were hoping for. But if not, what is really the downside? The fact of the matter is you've got training, you've got additional training. I mean, I'm the kind of guy who's taken basic pistol multiple times with different instructors because I like to hear it from different perspectives. You pick up something new every single time. I know we got people like Rita who join in with the radio program, and Scott, who have been to multiple seminars, and they say that they want to hear the seminars over and over again because they pick up something different every time. And the same thing when I attend stuff for firearms instruction, you hear something from particularly from a different instructor, they might explain it a different way and you pick it up. So don't you think that that's a good idea to get the training either way, Dave?
Yes, I do. In fact, we don't guarantee this is going to be acceptable to this day in New Jersey. We think it's far exceeds the requirements, but the objective is not necessarily just to get a New Jersey concealed carry or carry permit. The objective is to be able to properly, safely, and efficiently carry a firearm for self-defense. So that's our objective. That's what we want to do. There's a nice, corollary that you end up qualifying for a New Jersey carry permit, but that's not the primary objective.
How about you, Tony? Have you been teaching these courses for a long time, even before justifiable need? Is it more something where now the volume is going to increase, but you had been doing it in the past? Because Dave, have you taught permit to carry courses in Jersey, or was there's zero demand at the time? There's fewer than 600 in the entire state, right?
So what we did in Jersey for a long time is we'd either teach the Utah curriculum or anything, or the Florida curriculum, because that was accepted in Pennsylvania.
Right.
So for a long time, people would get either one of those courses because then they could travel to free America and exercise their rights. So we've done this for years and years. It just not, it's just understood that you couldn't carry in your home state, but as soon as you cross the line, then you could, put that thing on.
So this is new, but Tony, have you been doing these courses for a while, even though now it's going to go through the roof?
Yeah, I'm an NRA instructor. I've been that for about 10 or 12 years now. And back in 2013, when they created the handgun qualification license and these new requirements, I became a Maryland State Police qualified handgun instructor. Boy, doesn't that sound just so official? They even sent me a certificate with a bunch of initials on it. It's really cool.
Wow.
I think it's on one of my refrigerators underneath, like some stickers. But
you get badges.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say that in the last 2 or 3 weeks, before the Supreme Court decision and ruling, I would teach a permit class maybe 3 times a year, 3-4 times a year. And it would be to those business owners or those people that knew they had a way politically to get a hold of one of those. Every once in a while it would be a security guard or somebody like that needed qualification for their job. But by far the HQL was taking up a lot more of my time, especially back before COVID, when all that mess started and people started to realize that their security was kind of their own responsibility. I know, shocking. So a lot more people wanted to buy handguns to protect themselves in their home. So that 4 or 5 hour course was very popular. In Maryland, I believe we had 24,000 active permits about 3 weeks ago. From what I'm told, there were 10,000 applicants the first week, after
Wow.
the Supreme Court ruling. So I'm sure about now we've probably doubled at least the applications in the state. And I know and the other instructors I know, my next class that has even one opening is at the end of October. Other instructors about every weekend they're teaching a 7 or 8 person class. And I like keeping my classes about 16 at the most, and even then I have 3 other instructors with me just to keep an eye on things. Other places in the state are teaching 100 people at a time, and having them do the simunitions thing for, so again, we've got that variation. I think we're going to be very busy because I think at this point, the people who pay attention to these things know they can get their permits now. I think the wave's going to crest and it's going to crash right around December when it gets cold out. Let's face it. You think outdoor range, you're chilly. Oh my goodness. But I think then the rest of the population is going to talk to those people and go, oh, really? I can get a permit now? Because there's still those people waiting to see what happens.
Sure.
We've had our first set of permits here in Maryland issued since the decision. By law, the state police have 90 days to decide whether you can get a permit or not. I heard that one only took 25 days. So
Wow.
they're really kicking it into high gear, it seems, in the state police office to get people through the system. But I do think the wave of interest is gonna die down a little bit, but I think it's gonna come back again. And we're gonna see these waves of people wanting to defend themselves.
Dave, we got a question in the comments. Johnny Austin says, I've been told that New Jersey is going to require annual recertification on your concealed carry permit. Can anyone address recertification?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Okay.
All right.
That's the current statute is 2 years. Could that change? Certainly. But currently it's every
Murphy's going to say, yeah, let's make the new law. You got to recertify every day.
Oh, you need it again tomorrow?
He need it again tomorrow. Is
So
that
the other
bad guy
interesting
still in the tree outside your house?
There's nobody in your house right now trying to kill you?
the Jersey thing, actually, it's not issued by the state police. It's issued by a superior court judge.
Right.
Every application goes before a judge. You have to have a hearing before a judge to get the permit issued.
Well, that was the whole
Shall not
deal
be
with
infringed.
our lawsuit against the New Jersey Attorney General in terms of the full faith and credit clause, where we had court orders issued by a Georgia judge and a Delaware judge saying that the New Jersey court had to honor those court orders under the full faith and credit clause. Now we won't need any such thing. So
Well, I'm certain that the New Jersey lawyers are still going to be very, very busy. Certainly the New York lawyers are.
Sure.
But we're making progress, forced though it may be.
Yeah.
And, this was the only way New Jersey was going to get concealed or open carry. I mean, that was the only way it was going to happen.
So can people in New Jersey find your schedule for your upcoming courses, Dave?
Absolutely. So if you search for Elite Tactical Academy, there's a tab that says firearms, and all our firearms courses are posted there.
Is there a link to that on EliteTacticalArmory.com?
I don't think there is yet.
What are you doing, Dave?
Coming soon.
I'll work on that tomorrow.
What's the website for Elite? It's EliteTacticalAcademy.com.
Yes.
EliteTacticalAcademy.com. That'll get it done. How about you, Tony? Where do people find your upcoming courses?
I can be found on the almighty Facebook. If they just look for Maryland Firearms Training and then type my name, they'll find me on Facebook.
Tony Domenico.
Yep.
Could somebody see if they could pull up that link and get that pasted in the comments? Philly Chris or Liberty, maybe find Tony Domenico.
Yeah. Maryland
Firearms Training on Facebook. I'm posting in the comments the link to EliteTacticalAcademy.com. EliteTacticalAcademy.com. I got to be able to say that. I could say Elite Tactical Armory, EliteTacticalAcademy.com.
We'll get you some more bling, okay?
There we go. I don't know if you noticed my hat, sir.
Of course I did.
It's
Very
a great
sexy.
hat. It's a great hat.
Is it?
What's that?
Oh, there it is.
Got it.
Russ put it up there.
Cool. Thanks, Russ.
And this is
Our
for Tony?
producer producing.
This is for Tony. You got Tony's thing in there for Maryland? Don't answer.
I
me.
just put in Facebook.com/Maryland Firearms Training. Is that what it was, Tony?
Yeah, it should have my name behind it. If I
yeah, it's got like the Maryland flag in it and a firearm in the background with a target, right?
Yep, like a circle kind of shape. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just found it.
We're pretty big on social media too. The Facebook, Instagram. I even have some viral TikToks.
Oh wow!
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Why aren't we sharing those on the show? We need to show those.
Oh my goodness!
What's the TikTok handle?
Elite Tactical TikTok.
Elite
That is so cute.
TikTok.
No wonder why they went viral.
Hey, how can we get these things and play them on the air?
We can play them, but we have to tell Russ because Russ complains that they're vertical videos. And I say, Russ, shut up.
He can complain all he wants.
Hey,
right, Russ?
Complain anyway.
Can you find them, Russ, for us?
Imagine the show we would have if we didn't do things that Russ complained about. There'd be no show.
Yeah, we would have to the moon. We'd have everything available. I'm going to look it up right now, actually.
I'm allergic to vertical videos.
Elite Tactical TikTok.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking it up right now.
Elite Tactical TikTok. All right. Did you get Tony's link in the comments for everybody?
I'm allergic to Facebook.
All right.
I can put it in the private chat.
All right. That would be amazing.
Just for you.
That would be amazing.
Thanks, Tony.
CB's gonna get it. He says, Russ, let me help
There
you.
Go.
Yeah, we'll get the real producer involved.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
All right. Any parting words, gentlemen? Dave, any parting words?
Listen, always happy to be with you guys. It's fun and interesting and very informative.
Well, thank you for teaching us about how to use a public restroom with the firearm.
That was Tony.
That was Tony. I'm sorry. That was Tony.
Tony is very fat. The best thing I got out of this, I met Tony. I want to hang out with you sometime.
There we go.
I think that can be arranged. I think we need to have a beverage.
That would be great.
Yes.
We'll all get together. So, Tony, any parting words?
Just always enjoy being on the show, and with all the new people able to exercise their rights, that just make sure you research the instructor and get the training class that's right for you. Not everybody needs to be a SWAT operator. Everybody just needs to know how to use a firearm safely. So talk to the instructors and get the course that's right for you. That's the biggest advice I can give.
I just thought of something. Would Delaware be the logical meeting point for everybody? If Tony's coming from Maryland, Dave's coming from Jersey, Philly, Chris, and I coming from Pennsylvania. Do either of you guys fish, Dave and Tony? Dave, I think that you were kind of raised on a boat. Is that true?
That would be accurate.
He was born on a boat. Tony, if you fish, we should do a video where we go out fish and talk guns.
Yeah, we were just talking about doing that the other day.
Yeah.
Some deep sea fishing.
All right, we're setting it up.
Yeah.
All right,
Meet in the
gentlemen.
Wildwood.
Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen. We appreciate it. Thanks for continuing to do what you do. You're going to have a lot of people help them out to be able to protect themselves. Take care, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Great appearance.
For those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So, Chris.
Yes, sir.
We managed to work the public restroom talk into conversation with our firearms instructor.
It's like the third week in a row now we're talking about
And
toilets.
I wanted to say he was totally fine with it, Russ.
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
They loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, absolutely. They had some excellent advice about using a public restroom with a
It's
firearm.
an important topic.
Yeah. I will tell you this. Somebody was not happy about the public restroom discussions in our previous episodes.
Oh, is that right?
Wait, can everybody take a guess?
Yeah, everybody, I want you to take a guess
in the comments.
Put in the comments, take a guess at who was irritated about the public restroom discussion and who gave us a hard time in the middle of this week with respect to the public restroom discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a guess.
Take a guess.
Should you do a poll? Can we still do polls in here?
Why don't you do a poll?
Can we still do polls?
What's that?
Maybe we could do a poll.
Yeah, but if you do a poll, they can't type in their answer. I mean, how many choices?
Oh,
Stevie says Liberty's mom.
Liberty's.
I'm sure Liberty's mom minded not at all.
Liberty's mom chimed in. Remember?
Liberty's mom rocks.
Yeah, Liberty's mom was actually a part of the discussion.
She chimed in. Yeah.
She was an important contributor to the discussion. There's somebody who was not happy about the public restroom discussion. Let us know in the comments. Who do you think it was? Who do you think was grumpy and didn't like the public restroom discussion? All right, Philly Chris, why don't you just spill the beans over here? And I believe that you've got a transcript of the discussion, if I'm not mistaken.
We all have
Yeah,
to
we
read
have,
our parts.
Oh,
have the
everybody's going to read
information in
their
the
own
doc.
part.
That's what we were thinking. Yeah,
I
put it
think
in the
so.
doc.
All right, let me see if I can get a hold of this.
You just open the doc. It's right there. I added a couple in the beginning, Philly, because you forgot to add the ones, the main ones where you know who was.
Oh, did you? Okay, thanks.
He had a problem.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Can you
Wait,
see it, Mike? Ross,
I'm,
you got that?
I'm missing something. Hold on.
What are you missing?
Let me see the.
Mhm.
Do you have the
doc.
login? The doc.
I'm looking at the doc. There's
Yeah, we'll
nothing
give Mike a
there.
minute. Yeah, there's,
I see
go
it.
below.
You
Go to
gotta
like the
scroll down.
second page of the third page of the doc. I put it underneath everything for this week's episode.
He didn't put it under Philly because he put it under beneath
Yeah,
Russ.
it's like the third page.
That's logical.
Yeah. Well, they're
yeah.
big pictures, so you can't. It would have screwed everything else up.
She was upset about leaving the seat up. She thinks it's a respect thing that you have to put the toilet seat down. Liberty's mom.
That's because
right.
she's just forgive her. She knows not what she says.
Although
trust us, we're protecting you from a filthy toilet seat.
I liked Tony's take. He was kind of like a personal responsibility type of take on it. You know, everybody has a personal responsibility when they go in that.
You gotta look at it. That's right. This is not socialism. This is not a socialist toilet system.
Right.
Wait, hold on. Chris is about to say something so serious about this.
Well, my concern was always that, if it's on the side of your, your pants, somebody could just easily reach under and grab it. Like, that's why I think the hammock thing's a good idea.
Wow.
Oh.
Or the back of the.
I had no idea what you guys were talking about, and I didn't want to grab
it. Could you imagine seeing a hand coming in there?
Right.
Right. Wrestle for the gun.
It would not be a good situation, right?
You
well,
fall
actually,
out of the stall and break the door, and your pants are around your ankles, and you're wrestling with the guy.
Chris brings up a good point. Actually,
I have a funny story about that though. When I was working at a company years ago, you guys know where a close friend of mine was in the restroom, and I went in there, and he was the only one in there. So I messed with him. I reached under and grabbed his pant leg, and he totally lost his mind. He screamed, squealed. Yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Of course.
Shout out to Brandon.
So who's going to? I think we can reveal who. We're
going to reveal it, or should we just read through it?
Well, if you're going to read through it, how is that person going to read their part? You wanted everybody to read their own part. Otherwise, you can just. Yeah. Unless you want to narrate it in your Shakespearean voice and say who's talking.
Where should we start?
It would have to start with, how about we, right?
All right. So you want to read it, Russ, your part, or no? I just think it'd be funny.
I'll read Russ's part. I'll play Russ. All right.
All right. Yeah. Okay. There we go. You play Russ. Yeah. All right.
You got to read it in a different voice than the Mike G.
Wait, can we see if anybody did anybody
do
get
the toilet stuff after the hour that's meant for radio?
And then I liked it. And then I said, I'm just going to assume Russell says no to everything now, then expect it, and then get to real ideas. Unless that was Liberty. That was me.
That was Liberty.
It broken up, unfortunately.
What happened?
It's broken up on my system.
Yeah, something.
I have it right here.
Yeah.
You have it?
I said I'm just going to assume Russell says no to everything from now on, then expect it, and then get to the real ideas. Just expect Russ says no. And then Russ said, do you see that, Chris?
So we just renamed the show to Talking Beep.
And I said, even when he sends his own South Park toilet videos, the answer is still no.
That is correct. He did send a toilet South Park.
Then after some convincing, he comes around. And Chris said,
yep. And I said, hilarious, Liberty.
Oh, no. You can't read it like that.
Chris.
Hilarious, Liberty, with a bunch of exclamation points.
And then I said, idea. 1, Russell resists. 2, Philly Liberty convince. 3, Mike says my way or the highway. 4, Russell grunts. 5, Russell concedes.
Ha ha, true dat.
Mike G laughed at. Russell resists. Philly Liberty convinced. Mike says my way or highway. Russell grunts. Russell concedes.
And then here we go on Russell's rant. Do you see that, Chris?
Stray's pretty far from politics and law. I doubt our radio demographic wants to hear about the toilet seat being up or down. By the way, it says up or down.
Right.
The critics will be kind. Think critics will be kind. We'll get a bad rap for devolving into toilet talk. It just looks bad all around. We have a hard enough time getting sponsors. We don't need this sinking the boat faster.
And then Chris,
Rule 1.5. Just go straight to number 5,
which was
which
Russell
was
concedes.
yeah,
Number
Russell
5.
concedes. Yeah. So just
okay,
go
but then
straight
Chris,
to-
And
Chris
then-
got mad.
and
and
then
he
Chris said
Oh wait, I ran out of place here.
You said stop.
after.
Oh yeah, I just did the stop sign.
He said stop, Russ.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
stop.
Just stop.
And then I said, oh, beep. Russ is really getting in on this one. And then Chris sent the stop sign.
stop sign.
And then Mike G said,
I said, yeah, don't continue on the topic that got the most views and audience engagement in months. We wouldn't want that.
right.
and I said, people love the toilet talk. Everyone.
Yeah.
And then Chris said,
Hey guys, let's just be like every other boring show.
With the SpongeBob meme.
Right.
And I said, it's a common thing in daily life. Everyone
Mhm.
experiences it. It's like Seinfeld. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, hold
So
on.
there
We're
we
having
go.
a little bit of a crisis here.
What's going on?
There's a bot saying love chat XYZ best adult dating site.
Uh-oh. Hey
the
now. Hey
comments.
now. Maybe Russ was
Um,
right about all the
block
toilet talk
user.
after all, you know?
I blocked the user.
Oh, good.
So I
Okay.
think that worked.
I did notice there was a comment on
Mhm.
last week's video that you should not click on. You
Oh,
yeah.
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 Yeah, I didn't click on it, but it was.
I
very
clicked on it from
strange.
a safe device, but it takes you to something that's not so good. That
Oh.
Yep. So don't click on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. see?
Anyway, back to
Yeah.
our discussion.
Okay.
Liberty said it's a common sense thing, daily
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
Chris said, yeah, exactly. And then Liberty said, then between Mike speaks about serious law facts. People love that we are relatable. And Chris said that he's gotten calls.
Yeah.
Well, because Russ was
And-
pushing back hard. So we're like,
Yeah.
Russ,
Trying to
like,
show 'em, yeah.
we got to tell him why.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said,
And
FS, stop liking. Beep.
Oh,
FFS for F's sake. Stop liking. Yes. I said people literally thought about us all week because of the topic. So Russ's new name is Pig Vomit. And
Yeah, we
if
gotta
you
put
didn't
that
know,
in there.
Pig Vomit was the producer in that movie where it always gave them a hard time whenever they wanted to do fun and interesting things.
Yeah, exactly. The big show.
All right.
Yeah, there we have it.
I
So,
think that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then Russ conceded. Did
Yeah.
anything?
That's right. That's right.
And now Russ, can you remember Rule 1.5 just to concede?
Just to concede.
We'll call it Rule 1.5. Is Russ even with us still, or did he leave? What do you have to say, Russ? We do love you, by the way.
Everybody goes to the toilet, Russ.
Yeah.
It's a common thing.
Russ is on the toilet right now.
Yeah, Russ can't answer. He's on the toilet.
His phone is in the hammock right now.
Right. That's right. He's got the phone hammock.
When he's silent, he's really mad. I don't know.
That could be. That could be.
Hello.
The only thing I can say is that we're having the conversations no one else is having.
That is correct, sir.
On the air or off the air?
There you go, Russ.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Mhm.
Yeah.
The fun of doing
Anyway.
a live show. Yeah, we should.
So bottom line is if Russ says don't do it, we do it.
Usually it works out to our benefit.
Yeah.
Do we have
Yeah.
time this week to open it up for somebody to come on, or did we take too long?
Sure, let's do it if like the last half an hour. We can
If
go
only
another half an
Russell
hour.
can find the link, because he said he didn't know where the link was.
Oh, that's absolutely preposterous.
Mm.
That's absolutely preposterous.
Can't
I'm going
be.
to throw it in the chat right now.
Yeah, it just can't be.
So for anybody new here, we do at some point open up the live so that new listeners or any listener can pop on there live with us. You can
And
actually
you can
come in
be-
and talk about anything.
You can be on camera or off camera. It is
Yeah.
totally up to you.
Yeah,
We
and
love it
you-
when you're on camera, though.
and you just click the link to join in. So
Yeah, I think it's cool when we
do
get
it
to
at your
see-
own risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was fun popping on yesterday to let everybody know that we're doing the show today instead of tomorrow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And thanks everybody for arranging their schedule to be here. So many loyal
Yeah.
listeners and fans. I love it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, I just put that in the Put it in.
Get it in there.
Post it out there. I posted it out there.
Cool.
Maybe Russ did it already.
Awesome.
So you, Jeremy, thought it was funny that you clicked the link.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw it in there and it looked a little odd, so I was on a device that I could reset if necessary. And I clicked it and it takes you to some sort of adult nonsense. But I guess CB said when there's more comments and the show's gaining momentum, you'll start to see more of those
Adult.
thoughts. So it's a good sign.
Adult is code for pervert, apparently.
Right, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the link out there. People can join us.
Yeah, that's right.
That'd be
We'll have somebody
cool.
pop on in, have a little bit of a discussion. What is
Yeah, that was
going
fun.
on?
That was fun earlier. Those guys were great. Yeah, we should really do that fishing trip. Invite them along.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of good conversations out there.
And when
That'd
we
be
say
fun.
fishing, we really just mean relaxing on a boat and smoking cigars, right?
That's right. Smoking cigars.
Right.
Let the hook sit in the water.
Right.
Maybe you catch something.
But we did
I
catch
remember-
some stuff there a few years ago with Petroni and everybody.
Yeah,
That
last
was
time I
good
went
one.
with you, you
Mhm.
caught a skate while we were out there. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You
yeah,
were
that
like,
was
what
pretty
the
wild.
heck is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, some people eat that.
Yeah, yeah. I think they like soup might be a big thing with that, and other things you can do with it. I don't know that I've ever had it though.
I've
I've had a
definitely
bunch
never
like
had
that.
skate before.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to try it.
Yeah.
I've seen them scuba diving; they're pretty cool. Fly through the
Oh,
water
really?
like birds. Yeah,
No way.
some of them are really huge too, and you can ride on them.
Really?
Yeah, they're giant ones.
What?
Yeah, like the stingrays. Yeah,
No
Mhm.
way.
It's pretty cool.
Do you guys catch and release, or do you catch and eat?
Oh, we didn't eat the skate. Or I
No,
think
we did release that. Yeah,
we. I think we kept some.
we
sea
kept some of
bass.
that stuff. Yeah, the ocean stuff's pretty good to keep. I mean, gonna get it at the store anyway, right? So
Yeah.
as long as you're eating it.
Oh no, Rita says I was notified last night, but not notified about the show tonight. I hit the subscribe button a very long time ago. Russ, do you want to pop in and see if you can troubleshoot that one?
They probably know Rita's so loyal that they're trying to trick her from not being.
You know what, guys?
know.
I have that happen to channels that I've been subscribed to for many, many years. In fact, there was this one that I subscribed to in like 2012 or 2013. Somewhere along the line, YouTube felt the need to unsubscribe me.
Oh yeah.
really?
Oh okay. I think I've
And
heard that
that
happen.
blew
Yeah.
my mind because I didn't hear of the creator for many years until a video that they did went viral. And I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. I'm subscribed to that guy. Where's his videos? Apparently he's been making videos this entire time. And I just didn't know because YouTube said so.
An
So
alternative.
everyone, check to make sure you're still
Oh,
subscribed.
Yeah,
just
well,
got
they
real
are-
loud in my ear.
Yeah.
If you an alternative way is if you send your phone number if you want to MikeGinthemorning.com. If you go there and then scroll down and send us an email with your phone number, I can add you to the list, or we can add you to the list that you get the notification every week.
Mm-hmm.
That
I'm
works too.
maybe we'll
Another
try to
tip-
do a promo during the week if he confirms, but I've been speaking to an individual by the name of Jesse Crossan. You can find him on Instagram, but he's got a pretty interesting story and a lot of followers online. And make him on the show next week. We're talking to him about being on, so we might have a pretty interesting guest next week.
Yeah, we're considering doing a series about sort of second chance stories.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people who have been through a lot in life and maybe led a life that involved criminal activity and prison and have since crawled out of that and made something of themselves. I deal with those kinds of stories in my practice on a daily basis. So I run into a lot of people out of similar situations. I spoke to Rich. He'd be willing to come on to join some of those discussions too.
Yeah,
He's
that'd be
got
cool.
an interesting perspective because, like myself, he grew up with a lot of people who ended up on the wrong side of the law.
Sure,
and
sure.
Now we work, in criminal defense and particularly myself working with restoration of rights and having to get people's rights back and help them get that second chance. So
That would be cool, CB. Absolutely. Yeah, let's connect this week, CB, on some of the things we've been talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
CB's the man.
And
CB.
K Solo's story was
Oh, yeah, we
also
have to have him back on.
inspirational for that too, that series. And but it kind of reminded me of what Mike does in his law practice, like day in and day out. He's restoring people who had can you hear me?
We can hear you.
He's restoring rights of people and things like that had, a screw up in the past, and now their life's turned around. So.
Well, the system is so crazy too. Like one of the things that I found interesting, maybe he can talk about it when he comes on Jesse's Instagram, is he was required to sign up for some course to be able to get certain privileges, I think, when he was in jail. And the course wasn't available for some reason. So then they still didn't give him his privileges.
Oh, wow.
But, like it wasn't his fault. So then I guess he did a formal complaint and wrote, and then the individual who was supposed to be doing the trainings was forced to offer the trainings, but then they sort of held it against him. But it's, it's supposed to be about rehabilitation, but it sounds like a pretty crazy environment in a lot of these prisons. Some of the stories I personally heard and listened to his situation. So,
yeah.
But anyway, hopefully
that'll be cool.
Be able to get him on. Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy.
We're gonna get Stack on the program. Stack's Farmstead.
Yeah, we got to
get him on the program for a full, proper interview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that one will knock your socks off.
Yep.
Got another guy. His name is also Jesse, Pastor Jesse.
Oh, okay.
And he's got a great story. He's up in Pike County, Pennsylvania, with Global Renewal. What's the name of his church?
What was it?
Global Renewal.
Global Renewal. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's got a church up in Pike County, and really great guy. I'd like to have him on. So I think we could do a good 4 or 6 episodes where we talk about these kinds of stories.
Yeah.
On.
I think positive stuff, especially right now too. There's so much negative energy with everything going on in the world. That's why I really enjoyed the last few episodes where we've been a little bit lighter and having fun, and hopefully everybody's been enjoying it. Seems like they have, and I'm honored to be a small part of the show and have people actually willing to listen to us each week. So that's pretty cool.
And speaking of that, maybe we can interview Russ about his turnaround of his lifestyle change.
Yeah, you did it.
Right. That's right. Well, let's ask Russ about that before we pop off, because I think we got we're about done. So, Russ, what have you been up to this week? This is
the part, Russ, where you're speaking your microphone.
Yeah.
The rest of the team.
I was speaking into my mic and everything was fine. I just had to unmute.
Okay.
I swear I'm a producer. Allegedly. You guys accuse me of being a producer all the time.
No, you're a good producer. You're a good producer.
So what have you been up to this week?
Definitely a good producer. Definitely.
Chris. I can mute you.
No, I love you.
I managed to work in a bike ride this week, and I rode 5 miles according to the Google Maps.
Which pizza shop did you bike to?
Was it a leisurely ride, or are you going somewhere specific and going back?
I wasn't going anywhere specific. I parked my car in there was a place near the bike trail and that I was familiar with. And then I rode to another location that I was familiar with that wasn't that far away. I wasn't sure how far I was going to be able to go because I haven't ridden my bike in years. Ever since I got a car, I started getting fat.
So you got a bike into your car?
No, I have it on the back.
Oh,
like a bike rack?
Bike rack?
Yeah, I have a bike rack.
Yeah, you're officially the pizza in the guy.
No, the pizza's in the freezer.
That was for the DiGiorno cheese.
Right. We got to have a pizza party live.
Yeah, we just
I only eat 1 pizza a day. Well, hang on. We've been over this.
That's the line of the year.
1,500 calories, and based on a 2,000 calorie diet, there's a deficit there.
Hey, there's a deficit.
And unless I find something that works better and also tastes as good, I want to go on a diet and change my lifestyle, but I want to do it in a way that also affords me to enjoy it and enjoy the freedom that comes with, I like this food and also it benefits me.
And from that diet, from what I've heard, or that lifestyle change, sorry, not diet. What I've heard about it is that, so for somebody like me who loves coffee and I don't like my coffee black, I like cream in it. You can't do that with that diet, Rush. You have to, that's why you switch to zero sugar soda, 0-calorie soda, correct?
Yeah.
Because you cannot have, think about it
'Cause it
all
breaks
day. It
the
sounds
fast
easy.
if
You
you have
cannot
creamer
all
and
day
coffee.
long. You have to just have zero some things, right,
You're
Russ?
getting props,
The
Russ.
thing-
Jeremy says that's awesome. Keep it up, Russ.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Keep going,
Jeremy.
man. Hey now,
So
Jeremy.
the way so
CV on the
Zero-
other hand says, Russ, you're supposed to ride the bike, not drive it around.
oh, jeez.
Yeah, you drove the car 5 miles.
No, I drove the car more than 5 miles.
That's great. That's
No,
awesome.
I used to ride like 12 miles to visit my dad when I lived at a different it was like 12 miles away.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And you know, I could take the bike trail into town and visit my dad. So you know, I would ride 12 miles on the weekend. So it's not that I'm just deciding to ride a bike now. I used to do it as my main mode of transportation.
How will we keep the ladies away from Russ after this new transformation?
Oh,
That's
you
what
won't
I
be
want to know.
able to.
Well, the fact that I'm fat keeps them pretty far away.
You're going to have to beat him off with a stick.
But that is great, Russ. Keep it up
Yeah.
for sure.
But
No, that's
I'm pretty sure the zero sugar sodas, they're using some other sweetener because they don't taste any different.
I don't drink any of that diet stuff.
I did-
anymore,
And
no.
I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
just as bad as regular soda. It just doesn't make me as fat.
Yeah.
We
I
should
guess
get
you're
Russ
probably
a
not
Vitamix.
listening
That.
to me, no.
There's probably
get
something
Russ-
to that.
I
Get
would
Russ-
like Russ to get a DiGiorno cheese pizza with some broccoli on it eventually, maybe even just half, but I don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna do that. So
I'm pretty sure I would have to add the broccoli. I don't think they make one.
maybe you can
that
just
have
add broccoli just like on one side of the pizza, just so we can get a little bit of like nutrients in
Where
there.
do you buy broccoli? I'm kidding.
Just put it in the microwave, Russ.
Mhm.
You know, buy the frozen one.
You can
I'm
even
not
grow it.
nuking broccoli.
You can even grow it in your backyard.
I know when you're doing something, you don't want to hear suggestions from people. So like, you know, I was careful not to tell them right away because it's like first like, okay, good job, give them the props, and then it's like, all right, let's try to add some like broccoli in there or something.
Oh, if
But
you
you're doing
really
good.
are sticking to it, then that is something that's
Absolutely.
something commendable.
You know, one thing that I did enjoy when I was younger, and I haven't had it for a very long time, I really like spinach
Oh,
Spinach
okay.
is
with some
Okay.
melted cheese on it.
Stick some spinach on that pizza, Russ.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's easy.
Maybe.
That's
I
Are
might-
you?
I might
are you
give
re-
that a try.
I look forward
on,
to that announcement.
I might give that a try on a small portion of the pizza because I don't want to ruin a whole pizza.
Russ is the kind of guy to put. Russ is the kind of guy to put fresh spinach and fresh basil on a DiGiorno frozen pizza.
He would. He really would.
You know what? If I
Sure.
found a way that I could put it in at a certain time and have the cheese melt with the spinach so you don't really even taste it,
Mhm.
that would be fantastic.
Could do
There is
that.
something to it. Like what?
I look forward to having Popeye muscles.
Do you like garlic? Garlic is always good
Popeye
too.
mussels.
Oh, I didn't know garlic's good for me.
I
Oh,
think.
it's very good.
Oh
for you.
yeah, no, it's very
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Cleansing.
gonna
Philly
put it
Chris
on
puts it.
Put it
in
on my
everything.
next pizza. I already had my pizza today, so I'm not gonna have it till like 2 a.m. the following day.
I have garlic
So-
almost every day. yeah.
Wow.
Russ, when do you have
Wow,
your
that-
pizza?
that is something that takes a tremendous amount of willpower, though. I'll
What's
tell
that?
you what. On Sunday when I had the
Absolutely.
cheat meal,
Mhm.
I don't
Ooh,
eat
you
hardly anything
cheated?
else the rest of the
Damn
day,
Mm.
and it is a gluten-free pizza. And
Yeah, those were pretty
that-
good that time.
I go nuts most of the day waiting to get there.
Mm.
You know.
Mhm.
And so Russ, you're doing something that takes a tremendous amount of discipline.
Well, that's what I was saying.
It's
All
pretty-
day long.
pretty incredible.
Avoid
It
calories.
takes a lot of willpower to not just eat something.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm, mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's also something to it. You look forward to it, right, Russ? Like you just look forward to that one time a day.
Oh yeah.
You're
once
doing
you-
basically
once you bite
intermittent
into
fasting
it,
too.
once
I
you
look-
bite into it,
I
that
look
must be
forward to my
amazing.
I look forward to my pizza, guys.
Yeah,
I'm sure
no,
you do.
for sure.
Even though it's probably not the greatest thing.
Yeah, I guess you're really doing
I
that.
get it.
It's delicious. It's basically junk food, except it's full of protein. More protein. I used to buy protein shakes. They got like, I think 7 grams of protein. I'd have to drink like 8 of those to get the
7. What kind of protein shake is 7 grams?
crappy kind from Walmart. Okay.
Well, you're shopping at Walmart.
And they
that's
not
the
only
point.
have they gone up in price, but I'd have to drink like 7 out of the 12 pack in order to get the same amount of protein from one stupid pizza.
How's your cholesterol?
I don't know how to measure that. How do I?
We should get
How
a
do I
check.
access that information?
28 years old.
Probably terrible.
We should definitely have you go to a doctor soon and just get a physical and make sure
You a
your
doctor?
blood panel's okay, because the amount of
would you be
cholesterol
cool
you're
with
probably
them-
consuming.
Would you be cool with us sending a camera crew for your physical
Yeah,
as a doctor?
yeah.
Russ?
CB, you available?
That would be so
Please.
cool.
Be
Kind of like when Trump had his physical.
Yeah, we have
maybe
to do
Russ
that.
getting his physical.
And I'm saying that because I care about you too. Because I mean, it is good that you're doing something, but it is a lot of cheese and cholesterol.
Should we
and
use
all
Trump's doctor? Trump's doctor was pretty lenient. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Didn't he buy that doctor?
that. Actually, we should use Biden's doctor because he
Trump
was
was
just
eating McDonald's.
interviewed and said Biden is okay. You know.
Well, one thing that concerned me, I don't know whether to be concerned about how cheap my smartwatch is or the numbers that it was reading. Because as I was riding my bike, I would use my nose to navigate my watch, so I didn't have to let go of my bike. And I did a heart rate monitor thing, and like I was drenched in sweat, so I don't think it was working properly. My heart rate ranged anywhere from 50 to 172.
Yeah, that doesn't sound quite right.
So if I'm exercising and my heart rate is at 50, I'm basically dead anytime I'm not exercising. My heart rate might be 4. Or it was really dangerously high. Because I'm pretty sure 200 is really bad.
Yeah, that's pretty high. So yeah, probably could. You're moving, you're bouncing around and sweating. Yeah. What you should do is stop for 30, 45 seconds, however long it takes, and let it stabilize on the device, maybe, and check it.
Miller says,
Yeah, I think
Miller says I did a fast using boost strength, 1,000 calories a day for 3 days, then 2,000 a day for 7 days with exercise, lost 15 pounds.
What exercise?
Time.
What exercise did you do? Because from the calculations I could gather from the internet, I burned like 300 calories doing 5 miles, and I'm like,
It's total of 10 days. Total 10 days.
That's a good idea. At least you're getting the nutrients. Are you taking vitamins, Russ?
No.
You might want to.
Cola.
Well,
like Macola.
I'll stop
Really,
by
Chris, you know
Mike's
about
and
Macola.
just
Yeah.
You know about Macola.
Yeah, I've been
Or
taking
wait,
the sea moss
Chris,
stuff.
can I have those vitamins that you stole from Mike? Is
Yeah,
that the
absolutely.
accessory?
Oh, is that what you guys? Russ should have some vitamins. That would help
Yeah,
him out.
vitamins and stuff. Yeah, I brought those back, but we could probably next time I'm there, I'll grab them for you. Russ.
Okay.
Guys, I just
listen
wanted
to
to.
Randy. We got a bunch of success stories
Yeah.
here. Randy says I started 3 months ago when I found out my sugar level was 405. I cut out whites except every other week. No more second helpings. I walk 3 miles after dinner. Now my sugar is under 140 and I lost 35 pounds. Yes.
That's awesome. That's
See,
awesome.
I don't even know how to measure my sugars. All
Guys,
I know is that
XYZ says they've
Adult
got
Hey
the
now,
entire best adult dating site.
Guys,
Yeah.
get that off because CB said it does something to the algorithm. Russ, get
No, he
that
said
off.
it's good. It means we're getting attention.
No, CB
so.
said that it gets you or it does something to our
it angers the YouTube overlords.
Oh, really?
bots are back.
Even though it's their problem and they don't have a thing to like.
I told you guys the robots were going to take over.
Somebody block it. Philly Chris,
blocked
what
it
have you been doing? Jeez.
Well, you know,
Normally I set the stream to be only subscribers, but
message deleted. Okay, it's been deleted. Somebody deleted it already.
Jeremy says the sex bots are back. Like Austin Powers.
You know you're doing something right when you have sex bots in your
oh
chat.
gosh.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's bad, Philly, CB says.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Engagement is good engagement.
How is it bad?
How is the same one back? Because it
I
does
don't-
something, it angers YouTube.
Well, who's
and they-
doing it then? Like, you know, can
They're
we?
bots.
A robot.
Is there a way to block that? Ban them?
No, because they just
just
create a
did.
new. They just create a new account and they come back.
Guys, I just want your reaction.
Maybe
I'm
going to
report it.
program.
Report
CB said-
unwanted
CB says
pornography
maybe
or sexually explicit.
CB
There we
says
go.
maybe they'll sponsor the program.
Don't click on it, Chris.
No,
They're
I
gonna have
reported it. I'm
a
reporting
virus.
them.
Okay.
Report because there's a category that these fit in. So
Right.
if everybody would
Um,
report it, that would be great. You
yeah.
can click and report it.
Yeah.
The second radial button.
Guys,
down.
I know we didn't really talk about any like current news, but can we please just talk about the whole Kamala Harris video where she like said that she was a
hold on.
female?
Hang
Oh,
on,
yeah.
I'm not done yet. I also
Oh.
installed
Oh.
something called Pi Hole. Do you guys want to hear
Oh,
about
how is your pie hole?
Hole?
Not really, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I'd rather hear
Oh,
about
geez.
Kamala Harris. No.
No,
If
Kamala's
Russ, you got,
not the Pi Hole.
all right, you got 90 seconds, Russ. Go.
I installed this thing. It's called Pi Hole. It runs on a Raspberry Pi, and which is basically a tiny computer. Essentially, the idea is it creates the idea of a bouncer in front of your home network that looks at a list of ad servers and basically kicks out anybody who's not on the list. Shut up, Chris.
Sorry. Sorry, what happened?
I can block ads
Cool.
over my entire network. That includes my smart TV.
Can you do it for the show?
What?
Can you do it for us?
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't
You
work.
mean block the ads on like
Can you
I
block
don't know.
the sex
Hulu,
robots?
or-
So let's say an ad comes from ads.google.com.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The Pi Hole says you're not allowed here, so get out. And the device that's requesting this is told that doesn't exist, so it just doesn't show an ad.
Cool.
So it's like having a bouncer on your home network
Okay.
saying, "Get out of here, bub. You're not welcome here."
Nice.
And the other one is the Matt Gates video. Like, I don't know
Oh.
if we should show that, but like, there's just the Kamala and the Matt Gates. Like this week, I was just like blinking. Like, is this real?
Yeah,
Like,
it's been pretty interesting.
Reality
Funny
has
stuff
been
going
very
on. Yeah.
strange.
Are they in the doc? We have that
Yeah, they're in the
too?
doc.
Cool.
The one was from a Fox News article from.
With a smelly
Wait,
answer.
guys, I'm sorry. Is it Kamala or Kamala? I always forget.
It doesn't
She
matter.
says she says it both ways, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you guys
Yeah.
got on me about that one. So I was
No.
like, guys, I don't
can't
know.
I'm pretty sure
with
she
the
says it both ways.
I give people the benefit of the doubt if they pronounce my
No,
name
don't
wrong.
you remember the campaign was calling people racist for saying
Yeah.
Kamala?
Yeah,
Because
of
it's
course they were.
Kamala?
Yeah, right.
Now they're like, yeah, whatever.
I was on
Jeremy-
Newsmax the day after that happened.
Oh
and I
yeah,
said-
right.
I said that what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new fund, and anybody who pronounces Jiramita wrong is racist, and therefore they have to donate $1 to the fund.
I think it's a good idea. Might as well.
Oh, and Jeremy, I did not see the Biden where his eyes were.
No, I didn't
His
see that
Biden
either. What
jerseys,
was going
but-
on with that? Yeah.
But really quick, Russ, while we're talking, go to the doc and scroll
Is he,
down under
reptilian or
Liberty
something?
and go to the Kamala Harris video. It is there. It cues right up to it when you click on the video.
Is that the Bloomberg link?
But yeah, Jeremy, which one are you talking about?
Oh,
I
where
do
he
know-
wasn't blinking. I did see that. I know what he's talking about. He didn't blink. There was no
I-
blinking.
No, not
Really?
that one, Russ.
Yeah.
That one that's a different one, Russ.
Yeah, they
Okay.
must be like shooting him up with something.
one above
before he
it.
goes on
Oh wait,
stage.
no. Yeah, the one
Fox
above it.
News?
It's like Clockwork Orange. They had like these
Fox
things holding
News.
his eyes open.
Something like that.
Also,
yeah.
Kamala Harris
Biden
introducing
Biden
herself.
had COVID, even though obviously he has the vax, so they had to
Thank
give him Paxlovid. What's it called, guys?
Maybe a side effect is you lose your blinking ability.
Paxlovid, the
Oh,
COVID
Paxlovid, yeah.
drug. He
That's
has
got
to
some
take that.
nasty side effects, actually, if you look at the
Mm,
sheet on that thing.
Really?
Yeah. I looked into that just in case, might
Hmm.
need it or anything.
Is there a picture?
My internet is being extra stupid.
We
Every
have to
Uh-oh.
pull up this
Never
video of
upload.
Kamala. Like, I just can't. Just
Let me see here.
Hang on, I might have to deactivate my Pi Hole.
Uh-oh. See, your pie hole messed everything up.
Well, no,
Oh,
it's Fox News.
Biden goes 40 seconds without blinking, raising
Yeah.
health concerns.
Oh no,
Yeah.
40 seconds without blinking.
that's
Let's see if
not.
we could do it right now, okay? All four of us.
Okay.
I
No,
guess we can't
Mike.
see Russ and Liberty.
I
So me
can't
and
because I have
Chris are gonna
contacts.
I don't know if I could do it.
Content.
Like, it might mess me up.
All right. On your
All
mark, get set, go.
Guys, is this even a video?
Russ, they're doing a contest.
Oh,
you serious?
You already
I can't
started.
do it.
I lost
I
already.
can't
It's
do
9
it.
seconds.
I can't do it. It starts to, like, get weird.
Yes, Russ,
I've got
it
the
is a
video
video.
right here. You cannot play the YouTube video.
I'm clicking.
Russ, it's right there within the article. It's embedded.
Yeah, I'm looking at the art. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen to show
Do
you.
it. Share your
people.
screen.
I will share my screen.
I just went to it, and you can press play.
Let's post it in the chat.
Screen sharing tips, blah blah
I just
blah.
posted it in the
Great.
chat.
my
This
gosh.
one.
I can embed it
Okay.
and put it in the doc. Honestly,
It
I put it in
like
the chat.
is taking forever. Oh God.
There we go.
Fox News. Shut up! I don't want ads.
well, it's playing now, Russ.
What happened to your stupid pie hole that blocked
I had
all
to
the
turn
ads?
it off because Fox News is being a butthead.
Pie
Pie
hole
hole
stinks.
caused a problem.
No, Fox News is causing a problem. I know I have ads off.
Oh my gosh, Russ.
Oh, this is getting on my nerves.
Ladies and gentlemen, Russ the producer.
Oh, it was actually disabled. This is something Fox is doing. I don't understand. I'll just turn it off.
I wonder why they call that pie hole. It's such a weird name.
right.
Well, it's based on a Raspberry Pi, and the idea is that it's a sinkhole for ads. So
Okay.
it's a pie hole.
How is your?
You guys get to hear my
Series
audio?
Is back. Brian
Oh, look,
Kilmeade hosts.
an ad.
Who is Alec Baldwin? Go inside the actor's
blank.
rise to stardom and the controversies that made their way.
Shut up.
I wonder how he's doing right now.
I don't know.
Probably not good.
Looks like he shot the camera. It's blank. Too soon?
Okay.
Can you guys even hear
Good
this?
afternoon.
Yes.
I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
Did you guys see the reaction of the sign language dude?
No.
I missed that. I missed that.
All right, let's.
Ugh.
This stupid player. Why can't they just use YouTube like a normal company?
I'm wearing camo today.
Why is it doing this?
My name is Liberty. I have a black tank on, and I.
Make the Biden blinking video.
Check
Good
this out. Watch
afternoon.
the sign
I want to
language
welcome
guy.
these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
Like, I'm supposed to sign this?
Some of the most pressing issues of our time, apparently.
He looked like he looked like state the obvious. Like,
Right.
My name's Kamala. I'm stating the obvious.
is this the future?
So-
how we have to introduce ourselves, guys?
Russ,
I'm just
Well, you don't
Russ-
have to do that. I'm never
Russ,
going to do that.
Click the link that I put in there. It's for the Biden one.
But you're
Mike
right,
G,
though,
can you-
Liberty. They're
Mike
doing
G,
it.
react to that. I need a reaction here.
How
It's
do I
ridiculous. End of comments.
Mike's so done with it. He's just like, and Mike is right. It's like ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Mike, I don't think I can actually click the links.
I identify as a
Can you throw it
host.
in the back channel? Because like if I go to click on it, it wants to just tell me to show it on the screen.
In the doc?
No, not in the doc. You tell me you people use the doc? When did you start doing this?
No, never. Right.
Drop the link.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's the one.
I got 5 minutes left of me, ladies and germs.
All right.
Dripping in blood, surrounded.
Oh boy.
Hey now.
Should I be sharing my screen for this?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Let me.
How are we going to see him not blink without you sharing your screen?
what
We're going
kind
to
of
listen
question
to him
was that,
not
Rob?
I don't know. You were watching me not blink without sharing my camera.
Mike, should I use my microphone for this part of the show?
Shut up, Chris. No, Chris, we're gonna mute you.
We're going to get you a sign language guy to talk about your pronoun.
Dripping in blood, surrounded by carnage. Face to face with crazed mob that believed the lies of a defeated president. The police were heroes that day. Donald Trump lacked the courage to act. The brave women and men in blue all across this nation should never forget that. You can't be pro-insurrection.
robot?
He is a robot.
Pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. There can be no greater responsibility.
He doesn't look right.
Do all we can.
It doesn't sound right.
Joe, remember to blink.
Our families, our children, our community, our nation.
Oh, that was the first one.
They said Clockwork Orange too, right?
You did. You made the reference. Yeah. That's wacky, man. Yeah. Drugs, lots of drugs. Jeremy saying.
Drugs are bad.
They must be shooting him up with stuff. Like, seriously. What's going on over there?
Yeah, that is weird.
Whoa, what
And you know,
Mike G, what's your reaction?
They make him a robot or something?
Is,
Blink
he
if
doesn't
you're a
sound
lamp.
right. He doesn't look right. He doesn't
Yeah.
sound right.
That
Yeah,
boy.
It kind of looks like at Disney World where they have the Hall of Presidents.
Right.
Did you ever see those?
yeah, I've
That's what
been
he
through
looks
there.
like.
It was pretty.
I wonder if
wild,
that's
yeah.
their new
Where
model.
the voice isn't quite right. You know,
Mhm.
it's close, but it's not quite
He's
right.
got the COVID rasp.
And it's a
Oh,
robot.
looks like K Solo wants to join in.
Oh,
Where is he?
He's in the chat.
All right.
Where?
He
the
said,
last
Mike
message
G, what's
from-
up, buddy? I'm trying to get in. Get in. All I see is Joe Biden. What's going on with that guy, man?
We did send him. We put the link up there.
Well, it turns out they replaced Joe Biden with the model from Disney World that they plan to use in the Hall of Presidents. That's why he doesn't blink.
Yeah, that's pretty wacky. That's wacky.
We'll get Solo in for the last 5 minutes, and then we'll
Yeah,
call
that
it a
sounds
night.
good. Then we should maybe he can come in back in a couple weeks or something.
That's right.
Or-
Yeah, we gotta
yeah.
get a planned episode.
We got to have him back on. He
No
was great, yeah.
cursing.
No
At
cursing.
this point, who cares?
I care. I have to edit it.
Yeah,
No cursing.
yeah.
It's a family show.
No,
Yeah.
we care. We do care. We're caring.
Nice to
I
meet you,
wanted-
Karen.
I know exactly what I'm gonna ask K Solo when
Okay.
he comes on. You gotta click the link first, though.
Yeah.
You gotta get him in. What do you think it is, Philly Chris? Because obviously there's something going on there, right?
Well, I mean, he did just get COVID, and I guess he's still recovering from it, and maybe that's something.
Maybe
to
they
do
got
with
him a bunch of
that.
like Dayquil.
Probably, and
Right,
I do think they're
Symptoms
probably
may
giving him
include
like
forgetting
vitamin,
to
B
blink.
shots, or I don't know. It is odd though, or I mean, who knows? Maybe that's a
That's-
sign of some sort of cognitive situation.
That's
I'm
not what
certainly-
Philly Chris looked like when he was recovering from COVID.
No,
Philly Chris, make the face.
his face, or
Yeah. That's wild.
Symptoms may include.
I can't do that.
Forgetting
that
to
long,
blink.
Oh,
Jeremy says that's amphetamines.
Oh,
BB says it was a malfunction.
yeah, it was a malfunction. Nothing would shock me. Who knows what's going on there?
It would not surprise me if they had the technology to make him look like
they
real enough to be
Probably.
fooled by
CB helps
somebody
get-
watching through a camera.
No, the stuff at
CB
Disney, like
helps
Mike
people.
said, that looks pretty real. You know, if you're 10, 15 feet away, you know, you would think that's a real person.
If
They
it
have the
was at
technology.
distance and on a camera,
Right,
then
sure.
probably.
How much more convenient would that be for the administration too? Because they don't have to worry about him screwing everything up all the damn time.
It's like that deep fake stuff. You see that Tom Cruise deep fake guy? I think we talked about him on the show before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that guy looks like,
Well,
you know, looks and
there's
sounds
nothing
just like him.
stopping these people from just pre-recording him and
Mhm.
just throwing together all the best takes.
Yeah, I'm sure they do it all the time.
I'm pretty sure they don't, or
Mm.
they'd make him look bad on purpose.
I'm watching on YouTube Donald Trump and the Hall of Presidents.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that video is illegal. You're
that
not.
doesn't look
supposed
like
to-
K Solo's getting in. Maybe we'll just reach. I could reach out to him and see if we can get him scheduled for a couple weeks.
Yeah, give him 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
While
Right.
we're waiting, let's Russ pull
you
this
like to-
video up. This is the Donald Trump Hall of Presidents video.
All right.
Okay.
Would you like to share that video with the whole class?
Oh, you told me not to last time. You complained when I did that last time.
No, that's okay. Just throw it in the back channel.
I did.
No, that Mike, that's just the text. I can't click that.
Oh,
I need
You went to the front channel.
I went to the front channel. You have YouTube up because if you type that in, they'll do it.
What's YouTube? I've never heard of it.
Gosh, real pain in the ass.
Hey, no curse.
Now we got Mike swearing. All right.
That's not a curse.
Yeah.
It's that word is in the Bible.
A real pain in the donkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mule.
Like the movie 2000.
So who's still with us, by the way? Who's still with us?
We got Jeremy and CB and the other people. Hey now.
You got it, Russ?
Yeah, hang on. Let me do the screen sharing. Doodly do. This one. All right, here we go. Full screen.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
I can tell it's fake.
And will, to the best of my ability,
He waves his
preserve,
hands way more than
protect,
this.
and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God. From the beginning, America has been a nation defined by its people. At our founding, it was the American people who rose up to defend our freedoms and win our independence. It is why our founders began our great Constitution with three very simple words: we the people. Since that moment, each generation of Americans has taken its place in the defense of our freedom, our flag, and our nation under God.
See, the thing that gives it away is when you watch his mouth, he's speaking like a puppet.
Yeah, but it looks a lot
I
like
mean-
Biden did, didn't it?
Kind of, yeah. Actually, it might look better. It might look a little better.
that looks more like a human
Yeah.
being than Biden. did.
He's blinking. The robot's actually blinking.
Yeah. Well, I noticed whoever's this supposed to be, he's like moving his head every once in a while.
Yeah, they're looking around and stuff. I
These
mean,
are
you
the
know.
achievements of the American spirit, the spirit of a people who fought and died to bring the blessings of liberty to all our people. Above all, to be American is to be an optimist, to believe that we can always do better, and that the best days of our great nation are still ahead of us. It's a privilege to serve as the President of the United States, to stand here among so many great leaders of our past, and to work on behalf of the American people.
Awesome.
Where is that, guys?
Disney.
Oh, we got
Wait,
so
hold on.
That's in like
out the
Epcot.
evening.
Wait, hold on.
No.
I've been there.
We got
Yeah, I think it's in Epcot, isn't it?
No, it's in the one with Tomorrowland.
No,
Yeah, that's where.
Look who we
that's
got.
Epcot.
Look who we got to close out the evening.
Hey now.
Hey
Hey
now,
Solo, ladies and gentlemen.
K Solo on the air.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
I gotta ask you something, K Solo.
Hold up, give me 1 second, Mikey. Give me 1 second, buddy.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get hooked up over here.
He's got his
No
green
problem.
screen going there.
I was running over here for you, buddy. I don't run for nobody.
How far did
You know, my battery was dying. CB calls me and say, "Hey, Mike G wants to talk to you."
There we
That
go.
works.
Hey now.
Hey
Oh
now.
yeah, one thing. Nobody could curse in this. Ask me, buddy.
It's only you, right? We
That's his
got a
job, yeah.
special reservation for the curse words.
Okay, are we live here?
Yeah, we are live. Yeah, everybody sees us. He's gonna start off his YouTube again. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, probably.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's
I'm gonna-
Oh, did we lose him again?
I'm gonna push him to the bottom real quick.
All right, you guys got me?
We got you now. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm hearing excuse me, I'm hearing myself in the background.
Close out of YouTube.
Are you on YouTube?
Yeah, Mike G. I'm hearing myself in the background, buddy.
Are you on YouTube?
Yes, I am on YouTube. Yes, I am.
Then
Yes, I am, guys.
You got to get off of YouTube.
Oh, so where are you? Get on. Matter of fact, let me get on my laptop.
You're good here. You just got to X out the YouTube because you're on StreamYard.
Yeah, you're on the StreamYard. You look good here.
You're on StreamYard with us. You just got to close out your YouTube because otherwise it's going to play twice.
CB saying you have a tab open.
Okay, all right, I got you. Damn.
Hey, let's let CB in. CB, why don't you click the link?
Yeah, CB should.
We could have you run the tech support over here.
You lose him again?
We lost Solo.
Hmm. Maybe we should just get him scheduled when we have everything worked out.
We got to get CB on. CB, pop in.
La dee 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 dee. Doing a live show. That's all the time.
Yeah,
we
just
have,
so you guys know, Philly, Chris, and Mike talked a little bit about they might pop on here and there just randomly.
CB says that's all we have.
right. He's being a producer. What was that, Liberty?
All right, we ready?
I just said look out for some more lives coming.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
We got to give him 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, you hear us now? CB.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
All right. I don't got no background. Beautiful. That sounds good.
I got to ask
Shit.
you, so.
I mean,
it took you 3 seconds.
1,000. 1,000. We're gonna have a K Solo countdown.
K
Ladies
Solo.
and gentlemen, welcome to
I
the
gotta
show
ask you,
live.
what's
I'm
your-
sorry.
I got to
I'm
ask
sorry, man.
you. What's your gripe with Derek Jeter, K Solo? What's your gripe with Derek Jeter?
What? What was that?
What's your gripe with Derek Jeter? Why
You
don't
talking
you
about Derek Jeter, the baseball player?
Yeah, why don't you like Derek Jeter?
He's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to use that word again. Listen. This is my problem with him. One time I was working. I'm a bouncer. Okay, and I also do private bodyguard. One day I go to this club and the guy was drunk. He was drunk. I mean, really, really stinky drunk. And I see two girls, they're up to no good. So, as a bouncer and also as a fan, I got these girls off of him, got them in the cab. Everything was beautiful. The guy goes in his pocket. He got a knot, I swear to God, by like this big. He gave me $2 tip.
No.
$2 tip.
No,
Wow.
that's
Listen to me.
horrible.
On my mother's grave. Okay?
That's horrible.
Another guy, Giambi. I don't know if you remember Giambi.
Yeah.
He gave me $5 one time. He took the most nastiest dump.
Right
This
back
is-
to the toilet talk.
Did he leave the
This
seat
was
down?
in the Copacabana in the Bronx. I mean Manhattan, Copacabana.
Oh,
I,
this is wonderful.
I go in there, I'm a fan. I go in there. I want him to sign something for me. I walk in the bathroom. My God, it smelled like hell. So
Oh my gosh.
Sounds like one time I went to Walmart.
I go do the right thing. I get some good cologne. I spray it. And let me tell you, I sprayed the cologne, nice cologne, expensive cologne. I had to kill that smell. So I'm spraying, and the guy comes and gives me $5. Better than Derek Jeter. Better than Derek Jeter.
That's not right. That's not right.
Yeah.
Some of those
Oh,
guys
it's right,
are
all right.
known for being real
Yeah,
cheap.
I want to know. How do you know I had something against him?
Because last week when I mentioned him, you said F Derek Jeter about 100 times in a row.
That's
I don't
how
know
we
if you
knew.
remember that. That gave it away. When you said F
You gotta
Derek
s-
Jeter over and over again, that kind of gave it away.
You got to see the video with Jay-Z.
Where, in your club?
You got to see the video with Jay-Z.
What's the video about?
Oh man, just put you like this. I got 800,000 hits on that.
Oh, we got to
wow.
see it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we
It's
find it?
comedy. It was a fight. That was a fight. I carried, I'm bodyguarding his wife, Beyonce. The fight was right next to us. So as a bouncer, a decent, nice bouncer that I am, I picked her up by the butt. politely. I took her away from the fight. Jay-Z gets on the microphone. He gets on the walkie-talkie, and he says, yo, I want to see my wife in the office. I take Beyonce to the office, and can you believe it or not, this guy was so jealous that he called my boss. He didn't want me to be bodyguard Beyonce no more because I picked her up.
Really?
I swear to God, man. Beyonce stood up for me. She was like, what's wrong with you? I swear to God, Beyonce said, what is wrong with you? The man was doing his job. What you want? If I would have got hurt, that's what you wanted. That's what you wanted for me to get hurt.
You removed her from the scene, basically.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think, listen, as a bouncer, I've been a bouncer for like 30 years.
Wow.
That's my thing. Get out the scene and go away.
Oh, yeah.
And he thought that was, I picked up, and he thought that I was trying to,
How long ago did that happen?
This was in 2000, I think, first anniversary of his club, the 40-40.
And there's video of it, you're saying? There's video of it?
Huh?
Is there video of it, you said, or you were talking about a different video?
Yeah. No. There's no video on that. No, there's no video.
Okay.
They didn't let me. They didn't let me. I couldn't do that.
Right.
And back then, they didn't have YouTube, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what Jeter was saying. Jeter said that if there were cell phones around when he was playing, his career would have lasted 3 years.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Although
forget about it.
Yeah.
Oh, forget about it. Let me tell you something. He used to like to do this.
Oh, yeah.
He picked his nose?
I got so many secrets.
He used to pick his nose.
Listen to me. I got so many secrets. I could write a book.
Wow, okay, Solo. I don't want to hear anything about Mariah. I'll be sad.
Yeah.
About who?
Mariah.
Mariah. I like Mariah's voice. Mariah.
That's the most craziest bee I ever met.
Oh, goodness.
You knew that, though.
Listen, that's the most craziest bee I ever met.
Really?
I swear to my, I swear, man, I die right now.
You met her? Oh my goodness.
She is, listen to me. I got a story on her, on Jay-Z, the story about Jay-Z. Listen to me, I met Mariah Carey like 10 times.
Oh my God.
I'm a bouncer. I worked in many clubs in New York City. I met a lot of people. I can tell you, oh my God, about Pink. Pink,
oh my goodness.
she needs to see somebody because she got so many pimples in her butt.
Oh goodness.
I'm serious. I don't know if you guys know that.
We're gonna get sued for this.
I know, right?
You listen, her and Tommy Lee was going out. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yes.
No.
I know that she was, Tommy Lee?
It's not my show.
She was going out with she was married to the executive of Sony.
But listen, your Mike. We'll talk one day, and we'll keep some names out of it.
Yeah. CB says that there's a Kid Rock story. You got to tell us that before we go.
What?
You got a Kid Rock story?
Oh my God! You really want me to say that?
Yeah.
Do you really want me to say it?
If you could do it in a way that's
all right. Let me put it really nice.
Clean.
I'll try my best. Okay. The same day would. All right. Before I say anything, you guys got to give me a couple of seconds because I'm getting backgrounds. with you guys. Okay. So if you guys are asking me something, you got to give me a couple of minutes. All right. A couple of seconds. Anyway, the same day that I bodyguard Beyonce, that Jay-Z calls my boss, tells my boss, I don't want this guy bodyguarding my wife. Okay, beautiful. They tell me, hey, you're gonna bodyguard Kid Rock. Kid Rock? The white guy. It's Kid Rock, right? The white guy. Kid Rock, or not the black guy.
Yeah.
Kid Rock is the white guy, right? Okay, I get their names confused.
Yeah.
I get their names confused. So the guy, they tell me, listen, you're gonna go bodyguard this guy. So I'm like, all right, no problem. Like about 5 minutes later, I see him coming towards me. He tells me, hey, who's K Solo? Hold up, guys. I don't want this to die on me. Hold up.
What happened? Oh, he's got to plug it in.
Randy's got questions about whether
the battery was going down, guys. Hold up, my bad.
Right.
Yeah, my bad. Hold up, guys. Give me 1 second.
You're listening to Mike G in the morning.
Oh, shit. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay, we good.
Welcome back.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. All right, so what happens? Kid comes to me. He said, who's Solo? I said, I'm Solo. He said, okay, you gotta, you the guy I'm looking for. You gotta bodyguard me, whatever. We chilling. We walking around, blah, blah. He's a good DJ. Very, very well good. I mean, the guy is nice. Yeah. I'm DJing. Beautiful. That's how he started as a DJ. Anyway, he's with his little entourage, like about 7 or 8 people. So he tells me, hey, I need a bathroom. That's 1,000 bathrooms in the club. I'm like, that's 1,000 bathrooms. Which one do you want? He said, no, I want one privately.
Oh.
So I call him the mic. I tell the head guy, yo, listen, this guy wants to buy a bathroom for a few minutes private. Just him and his entourage. They're like, any bathroom you see, clear them out. They're going to do that for a big star. Come on now,
Mm-hmm.
So they clear everybody out.
Mike does that all the time.
I go to the bathroom.
Oh, no.
He pulls out a big-ass bag and the bag had baby powder. You get it?
That's exactly what it was.
You get it?
Yeah.
You get it? Baby powder?
Was he changing a baby or something? What's going on?
And his nose needed
I don't want to say the real name. I don't want to say if it's okay, I'll say it.
Yeah.
All right.
We get it.
He pulls out a big bag of baby powder. Big shit. I mean, he pulls out some Colombian stuff.
He must have had twins.
So he's giving everybody, here you go. Everybody's going out of there. They're coming out the bathroom with their eyes all open.
Like Joe Biden.
Getting crazy.
It looks like Biden.
Nobody's blinking, you're telling us?
He tells me, all right, tell my crowd to leave. I want to stay here by myself. So I tell the guys, okay, guys, you got to leave. He wants to be here for the bath. He wants to stay here by himself for a couple minutes. So his entourage leaves. Now he's doing his thing with the baby powder. He's going crazy with the baby powder. So he looks at me and he tells me, you want some baby powder? So I looked at him. I said, I don't mess around with the baby powder. So he tells me, but come on. So I looked and I said, Jesus, who could say that I did some baby powder with kids? So I said, okay, give me a little bit. The guy gave me a shovel. My whole drawer turned.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Now I need a bouncer. I'm scared of death.
Right.
I'm in the bathroom. I'm hitting helicopters.
Oh, man.
So at that time, I was doing, how can you say this? How can I say it? I was working on a side job. I had some cough medicine. Cough medicine that, cough medicine that a lot of people out here like, that gets them down, So you know, I was
The
I was
nighttime
doing my
talk,
thing in the club. A lot of people like that stuff.
Hmm.
So I go, I'm all freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, how can I go to work like this? I'm gonna get out. They're gonna notice this. They're gonna see me. They're gonna fire me. I'm you know, that's how bad it got me.
Right.
Turns out it was
So I
actually.
said, oh, wait a minute. I got some of this. So he looks at me, tells me, what you got? I take it out of my pocket and I show him. He tells me, what is that, downtown? I'm like, what the hell is downtown? You know, I'm a Puerto Rican. I'm a Puerto Rican. I don't know what's downtown. No.
Uptown.
So he tells me, is that deep?
Downtown.
I say, yes, it is deep. So he said, oh man, let me get some of that. So I looked at him, and my mom said, you greedy bat. You know, you greedy deep. You know? So I gotta calm down, Mike. I gotta calm down. So I take one of those downtowns and I do it.
Oh,
So now I look like the Exorcist. Throwing up. This guy does two with no problem.
No problem.
I looked at him, I said, wait a minute, man, you didn't throw up, you didn't do nothing. I mean, you do this. You know, I mean, I had a lot of fun that day. And like I said, I could tell you so many stories, Mike.
That's great. That's great. Well, we thank
so
you.
many stories.
Really quick, Mike, before he goes, I did have somebody who's listening message me, and they wanted to know about Jeter and China Club. Do you know anything about Jeter and the China Club?
Jeter and the China Club.
The China Club?
Yeah. Do you know? Yeah. Okay.
Tell that person, ask that person if it's the same club that there was two clubs. The top club was China, the China Club, and the bottom club was a gay club. Ask her if it's that club.
Is that the right place, Russ?
Has he been at China Club? That was the big back in the day with 40/40 Club. I went every Monday. We have somebody listening, and they were telling me stories.
Yeah, it was kind of it's a while back.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, the China Club, I got a few stories with him in the China Club. Man, like I said, I got stories with Pink. You know, so many rappers. Dipset when they broke out without paying a $2,000 bill. Forget about it. You know, so many stories, guys. So many stories, man. So many. You know, so
we'll have you back on. We'll do a full interview and everything like that. Thank you.
Listen, I gotta go, guys.
All right. Thank you so much for joining in. It was good to see you.
Love you, K Solo.
All right, K Solo. Give it up for K Solo, ladies and gentlemen.
I text you and I left you my number, buddy.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm gonna reach out to you and we'll get you scheduled in a couple weeks.
Hey, Mike, you got my number. I sent it to you. All right, buddy. Yo, you guys take it easy.
Peace and love, brother.
Bye.
That's all the time we've got for today. Stick around for We the People, the Constitution Matters. Pastor David Whitney, Professor Philadelphia. I'll be joining as your legal analyst. We miss you, Ellie. Daddy loves you.